Rookie move. But you know Bo can make your tailgate a winner, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Because the Carolina Legend has everything you're craving. We're talking crispy, juicy chicken loaded with real Southern flavor, fluffy scratch-made buttermilk biscuits, and all the fixins to feed your whole crew faster than you can say touchdown. Be the MVP this season and let Bojangles do the cooking. Order your tailgate today. It's Bo time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's Bo time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's Bo time.
Hey, at Total Wine & More, you'll love what you find this Halloween.
Me thirsty.
Oh, hey, Frankenstein. Did you enjoy that Cabernet?
Oh, good. Want new red.
Well, all the villagers are raving about this red blend.
Ooh.
And we have it at the lowest price in town.
Economical.
Find what you love and love what you find with the totally lowest prices for Halloween. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Happy Halloween. Beautiful afternoon out there. A little breezy. High temperatures in the mid-60s. Trick-or-treat time, temperatures mid-50s to around 60. We do drop into the upper 30s late tonight, so chilly. Some of our western counties are under a frost advisory. And a pretty weekend in our forecast, looking at mid-60s with sunshine, but some rain Sunday into Monday.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 69 points to 47,591.
Going to be given away to shot. He scores! Bradley Nadeau, his first NHL goal. Riley reads the play. Riley with a shot, trying to go short side. Stop chance, Riley. He scores! It's a loose puck and they score! Jordan Martin. Hall busts into the zone. He'll drop this back. Getting the shot. He scores! Jackson Blake. Andrei Svechnikov flying through and he scores! Andrei Svechnikov. Here comes Ehlers with a break and they'll score! Logan Stankovic.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
What's going on, everybody? Tim Donnelly here. It is The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox producing the show. It is a celebration day for the Carolina Hurricanes. Got the win last night. And mostly good news today. We'll pass that along to you in a second. Just so you know why we're going to pick up the tempo today. I feel like this is the huddle before you go out for a drive in the OC's like, hey, on the line, we need to pick up the tempo. On the line. Nobody waiting around. Don't look at me. No huddles. Canes beat the Islanders last night. They play tomorrow afternoon against Boston. The Panthers are playing on the road at Lambeau, playing against the Packers on Sunday. UNC is at Syracuse football tonight. They're trying to build off of whatever they've been building the last two games. Duke and Clemson Saturday at noon. State hosting number 8 in the country, Georgia Tech, Saturday at 7:30 p.m. That's what we have going on. Oh, by the way, there's a World Series game tonight. Oh, by the way, there's a ton of injuries to update you on. So what am I doing wasting time here? Big 3 at 3. Let's jump right in.
Number 1.
Canes beat the Islanders 6-2. We'll give you some updates here. First and foremost, mostly good news from the injury updates today. Seth Jarvis, who did not finish the game yesterday, appears to have dodged anything super-duper serious, which is, like I said, good news. He may even be able to play tomorrow at Boston, according to the update earlier today. We'll play that audio for you in a bit. William Carrier, Keandre Miller, both lower body injuries. They've been out for a little bit of time now. Skated during today's injury ice. The injury time out there on the ice. Miller won't travel, but they're hoping he's soon. And Pyotr Kochetkov activated from injured reserve, meaning he's on the cusp of his season debut. That all updated by Rod Brindamore and relayed through Walt Ruff. So there's some injury updates. Let's talk about the win. That win to me screams, and I'm not being any kind of superstitious person here. It screams depth. It screams depth. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you would have told me, I like playing this game. Let's get into the time machine. Let's go back to a week before the season started. If you would have popped out of your time machine, came up to me and said, hey, listen, the Canes are going to play a game where Jacob Slavin doesn't play due to injury, Keandre Miller doesn't play due to injury, Shane Gostisbehere doesn't play due to injury, Eric Robinson, Will Carrier don't play due to injury, Jarvis and Aho combined for 0 points, and Jarvis doesn't finish the game, and oh, by the way, you're going to have Brandon Bussey in net, I would have gone, how much did they lose by? They won 6-2. They won 6-2. That's good business. That's good depth. Some of the players out there skating kind of big minutes. We're nowhere near the plans to be skating kind of big minutes. Joel Nystrom, 17 and a half minutes on the ice. That wasn't the plan. Mike Riley, 16 and a half minutes and scored a power play goal. Shorthand goal. Special teams goal. The wraparound. Sean Walker, 17 minutes. That one makes a little bit of sense. Charles Alexis Legault, 15 and a half minutes on the ice. This is depth in your program, depth in your farm system, depth in your culture, in that when guys step up, it's not an excuse. I was really impressed. I was really, really impressed. And you could take it a step further and go, well, if all those guys were hurt, Jarvis and Aho didn't have a point, who scored the goals? You want to talk about youth? How about Jackson Blake scored a goal? How about Bradley Nadeau scored his first career goal? How about Logan Stankoven scored a goal? These are all guys that are, 22 and younger? Well, who was holding it down on the blue line? Well, Alexander Nikishin's a +3. He's what? The old man at 23,
24 now.
Just turned, right? 24. The young guys stepped up, give them credit, with the grizzled veterans' guidance along the way. And that's where the Jalen Chatfields, the Taylor Halls, right, the Jordan Martinooks, the Jordan Stalls, those guys, their presence mattered a lot. But I think the engine was the young guys for most of the night. We'll talk about that more at 3:15, and we will get you the audio of Rod Brindamore talking about those injuries in less than 10 minutes. But for now, pick up the pace. It's on to number 2.
Just the two of us. Number 2.
Panthers, Packers, Sunday. Panthers trying to get back on whatever track they were on prior to the Buffalo game. Bryce Young off the injury report, right? Just talk about updating on injuries. He's going to play. And that's obviously a sight for sore eyes after he misses a game and you lose 40-9. I'll relay a Joe Person tweet here. Joe Person, who covers the team for The Athletic, says this on Twitter. Panthers running back Rico Dowdle will start and get the bulk of the carries Sunday at Green Bay, per Joe Person's league sources, although he would expect Chuba Hubbard to be a part of the offense as well. That's all we ask for. I'm not saying you have to give Rico Dowdle every carry. I'm saying make it obvious who the guy that you want to have the ball most is. Chuba Hubbard out-carried Rico. That's the issue. I'm all for context. If you tell me Chuba Hubbard's going to be the super short yardage back when you have Jumbo with extra tight ends out there and you're going to pick up 3rd and 1, you want to put Chuba out there, I'm not going to complain about that. But if there's an opportunity to get someone going, make sure it's Rico Dowdle. Talked a lot with the Panthers about plan A's, plan B's, plan C's. Their plan A has to be running the football and stopping the run. They did neither of those against Buffalo. I'm not sure there was something you could have done, other than just being more prepared to stop the run against James Cook and Buffalo. But offensively, I do think they could have gotten the run going more if they leaned on Rico Dowdle more often, earlier, and kind of gave him the reins from the beginning. And it sounds like that's going to happen against the Packers. Because, by the way, the Packers are very good also. So if you're going to beat them, you're going to have to do, lean on what you do best and do that very well. And so far this season, Rico Dowdle's been that. From a yards per carry standpoint, efficiency standpoint, all of that. So I'm happy to hear it. And then Bryce has to keep him honest. Right? Then Bryce has to be able to complete enough passes downfield to keep him honest. I do want to give you one stat here. And it comes from, here we go, fantasy points data, which you can do with that what you want. They judged catchable throw rate, which is one of these metrics for quarterbacks, but they divided it up to 0 to 9 yards past the line of scrimmage, 10 to 19 yards past the line of scrimmage, 20-plus yards past the line of scrimmage. Bryce Young, 0 to 9 yards, 91.7% accuracy. That is amongst the league's best. That's top 5 quarterback in the league. 10 to 19 yards downfield. Mm-hmm. 57.4%. That is near the bottom, just above 1 or 2. 20 plus, it's back up to 75%, and it's not quite top 5, but it's at the top. Like, that is very, very good. His overall catchable target rate, 27th in the league at 71.9%. So that middle section, that intermediate part, is holding him way back. And the only frustrating part about that is I think that's where the skill set for his receivers work best. When you look at Tedero McMillan, all those crossers, all like that, that's where he works really, really well. And obviously the tight ends. Jalen Coker, although he is a great contested catch guy downfield, I still think he's more of a slot intermediate guy than he is like a true deep threat.
Yeah, I think he's great 12 to 15 yards downfield.
So there's where it needs to improve, right? That's where you need to keep him honest. Play action over the linebackers in front of the defensive backs in a lot of ways. That's where he needs to improve.
And it's not like they take a lot of deep shots.
No, but he's been good when given the chance accuracy-wise for going downfield. I think also it helps that, it's hard to say a ball that hits the receiver's hands isn't accurate, and you're throwing a lot of those deep balls to Tedero McMillan, whose arms are go-go gadget arms. It's like, if I get it within a 7-yard radius, that's an accurate ball to Tedero McMillan.
True.
So you can use that to your advantage. By the way, that's true in the mid-range also. That's number 2. Let's get to number 3.
Number 3.
UNC at Syracuse tonight, 7:30. Duke at Clemson on Saturday, noon. NC State hosting number 8 Georgia Tech Saturday at 7:30. This is amongst the last times, right? You're for the most part 8-9 weeks into the year. You have 4 games left probably on average. This is one of the last times you have to change the vibe of your team, right? You win the last game of the year, even if it's a rivalry game, it's still like, yeah, but there wasn't much there for 11 weeks, right? If you win your last 4, if you win 3 of your last 4, if you play better than you've played the previous 8 games for 4 games, that's momentum into the offseason. That's vibes. That's high. So specifically talking to NC State and UNC, who have underwhelmed this year, if you're going to turn it around, this is one of your last chances, right? This is like you're going into that desert of the offseason, and you're passing the sign that says, get gas now, no gas station for 200 miles, right? If you're gonna change up how people remember this season, do it now, or else there's no other opportunities for a long time. Or else you're not going to be able to till week 1 of next year, or at least till you start winning the transfer portal or something. Duke's in a little different spot because they've won some games and they have some players that are excelling, but Clemson, I know they're not what they were 5 years ago, but they still got dudes, and Duke doesn't have the best history against them, which is why you stormed the field when you won last time, and you're at Clemson this time, which is even more difficult, and it's noon. Get up, get ready, get rolling. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the Big 3 at 3 here on 99.9. We have audio from Rod Brindamore, not only updating some of the injuries the Canes are dealing with, And we don't have time to update you on all of them with audio because there's too many. But we'll play some audio from Rod updating you on injuries, like the one to Seth Jarvis from last night, and some insight into the game. What does he think of Nikishin's development? Stick around.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Come on, Gene, more cowbell.
It's Halloween. Can't fear the Reaper, man.
I guess that tracks, too. I don't associate this song with anything but Will Ferrell in a tiny shirt. Come on, Gene. Don't ruin this for us. I got a fever. Anyway, the Canes last night, they had a fever. Goal-scoring fever. 6 of them things. Put it on the Islanders. 6-2 win for the Carolina Hurricanes. Seth Jarvis did the thing that we love Seth Jarvis for, that also occasionally makes it frustrating to be such a fan of Seth Jarvis. Throws his body in front of the puck. Takes it off the ankle, and then, I mean, they showed it a million times on the broadcast if you were watching at home. He gets hit. He goes back to try to score a goal. He gets hit again. His head is, like throwing back. It's flailing. You could just tell he was having a tough day. And then after the game, Rod Brindamore hit us with the it doesn't look good or whatever the word was, and it was very ominous. And for 12 hours, my imagination ran away with me on how many months is he going to be out. Goodness, what does this mean? How long will it be under for surgery? And maybe the doom and gloom was warranted. But then today, all of a sudden, I think it was Ryan Henkel had it first. There's a little bit of footage of him skating, and you're like, he's skating, but he's not in any kind of gear or pads. Oh, okay. But then you watch and he's moving pretty good, and I'm like, all right, maybe we should be optimistic. What should we do? Well, maybe we should wait to hear from Rod Brindamore. We have the audio from earlier today of Rod talking about one of his stars, Seth Jarvis.
Yeah, I think he'll be all right. I think that we dodged the bullet there. I'm not sure his availability for tomorrow. I think he should be able to go, but still not 100%.
Should be able to go tomorrow? That's fantastic news.
Jarvis is tough as nails, man.
Tough as nails.
Really is.
And obviously a little luck there as well. Like, dodged a bullet is a good term. And the Canes were due for some of that. right? It seemed like everybody that got themselves in a position to maybe get hurt had been. So maybe they're due for a little positive regression there. But that's huge for the Canes. Huge. He's one of, if not the most difficult to replace player in that lineup. Everything he does, just a massive bit of news there. And even if he's not back tomorrow, right? If it's a game or two that he needs to get back, you take that every time based on where the worry was last night. More from Rod, because the not just the injuries that he's updating you on, it's also what happens in place of those injuries, meaning a whole bunch of rookie minutes. Alexander Nikishin, Legault, Nystrom, Nadeau, who scored his first career goal last night. A lot of rookies out there on the ice. This is what Rod had to say about the youngsters.
They've done their job. They have done what I expected and more so. So they're giving us everything they can, and I think they're learning on the fly. I think you can actually see them, getting better. And but yeah, it's not ideal, but they're doing everything they can.
That's starting to become a refrain for Rod, talking because he has had to play so many of the rookies, probably a little before he wanted them to. Of they're doing their job, they're learning, they're doing their job, and then he almost always ends it with, obviously it's not ideal, right? It's acknowledging that they're not. It's unfair to expect them to step into the shoes of the guys they're replacing and do what those guys are capable of doing. But for who they are, where they are at their point at this point in their career, and for what they're being asked to do, they're doing a good job. And we've talked about it a bunch. It's survival mode for the Canes right now, right? Every win is worth its weight in gold because it makes it a little bit less of a comeback when the other guys are able to play, or it makes the hole a little bit more shallow that they have to dig themselves out of. Every win is huge, and the Canes took advantage of an opportunity last night. I don't want to say the Islanders played their best, but the Canes forced a lot of it. Speaking of, and I haven't mentioned his name yet, and I know many of you are going, give him his credit, and I will right here. Andrei Svechnikov has stepped up in the last 2 games, right? Obviously a goal in back-to-back games, so, the metaphorical lid has popped off the goal. But also, like, the Martinook goal was created by a shot that had gotten almost through by Svech. He was a little bit more aggressive. The move to get by Schaefer on his goal was kind of as explosive and kind of wily angles as I've seen Svech in quite some time. And you're going to need more of that. You're gonna need more of that. I'm not pretending like he played a perfect game, but credit where it's due, right? You're noticing him. When our biggest complaint through the first 6-7 games was like, gosh, I forget Andrei Svechnikov's out there. You're not doing that as much over the last 2, and keep doing that, right? Keep making us say your name. Keep making the goalie make saves. It was a big game for Svech, which is always appreciated, and I know how aggressive their fans are. His fans are. I want to build off of now all the points we've talked about with the Canes. Young guys, injuries, switching it up, right? Forwards having to pick up the slack maybe for some injured blue liners to make up for the rookies. If there was a play that was my favorite last night, I now know, that's actually something my wife does all the time. She wants you to rank things. You'll be out and just be like you'll smell pine trees. Oh, that's nice. Well, what are your top 5 favorite smells in the nature? And I'm like, oh goodness, I don't rank those. If I had to rank the plays they had from last night, right? Taylor Hall's pass to Jackson Blake is my favorite.
That was a beauty.
It was a beauty, and even more so than the play, what I loved was Jackson Blake was celebrating. Don't get me wrong. His goal, he celebrates, right? He gets the first high fives, but he was very effusive. And you could tell, like, just body language and where his eyes were going. He was appreciative of the setup, right? It was the dunker off the alley-oop that points right at the guy that threw the alley-oop and go, you, that's half yours. Jackson Blake was very like, okay, Taylor Hall made that play, right? And by the way, I believe that was Brandon Bussey's first career point as well.
It was, actually.
So Bussey to Taylor Hall to Blake. That is like the odd couple with 3, right? You have a goalie who's in his 4th career game. You have a second-year player, or was a rookie last year, who is already on a long-term contract, and you have the 30-something-year-old MVP from a bunch of years ago combining to make a goal that made it 4-1, right? Kind of, for me, in the third period, by the way, felt like a seal-it goal. Right? All right, good. Whew, we can exhale. Almost like that made it okay for Rod to essentially say, like, ho, Ehlers, you guys aren't going back in there. Did you see what just happened to Jarvis? Like, it made it okay for everybody to understand 4-1 is probably locked up. That goal is the way I look at this roster for the Canes. It has the appropriate amount of veteran guile with the pop, the explosive, the sizzle coming from 27, 28 years old and younger. You have the youthful exuberance of an Alexander Nikishin who's playing great, and you have the shorthanded goal from Mike Riley. Like you're getting both sides of the spectrum, which I think, and no disrespect to other players that were on the roster, the past 2 or 3 years, really the past 2 years, it's felt like 100% of the youthful energy came from Seth Jarvis, and around him was a lot of, like, guys that make this sound when they stand out of a recliner. Like that's what it felt like. Now you have the appropriate mix, even with a bunch of injuries. You still get the Jordan Martinook goals, but you also get the Bradley Nadeau goals, right? You get both sides of the spectrum. And the more games you can do that, especially before the injured guys come back, the better. It's not going to be every night, right? That use a Halloween term, happy Halloween, everybody. That witch's stew isn't going to be mixed perfectly every night, witch's brew, whatever you want to go with. But when it does, it's huge. It's really, really important based on where they are injury-wise.
I know one thing we didn't really touch on from last night that I actually thought was really encouraging. Obviously, the play of the youth and all that stuff isn't going to be the big story, but Canes only had 1 power play last night. They have 5 shots on that 1 power play. And it looked different. I know they didn't score, but you could tell that they were creating chances and creating opportunities. It's like, okay, the process is there. Eventually, some of those are going to start to go. And I think once those start to go, it might be floodgates open, hopefully, for the power play. But I was encouraged by the power play last night and their 1 opportunity.
1 opportunity, I think it was a minute 48 for the top. Like the power play 1. I like that. I like they're trying to own it, right? We'll get shots up, and then if they are, stay out there, right?
But keeping the puck in the zone, that's all as a factor into it as well. It's just the fact that they were creating lots of chances, they were creating a lot of different scoring opportunities from it, and it was multiple guys doing it as well, and everything seemed to be funneling towards the net. You have to be encouraged by it.
I actually didn't realize it was this bad, but I was just looking up power play minutes to be exact, and it was 148 for that power play 1 unit. They kind of got smoked in the faceoff circle. 38% for the Canes last night.
Yeah, there was a stretch there from about middle of the first after they took that 3-0 lead until about the middle of the second, where it felt like the Islanders actually really did control play.
Yeah,
that game also lacked a lot of flow early on. I remember they mentioned in the broadcast, it was about halfway through the second period, and they're like, we've had 52 faceoffs already. Just too many. There was a lack of flow to the game.
Weird game, but I don't know if this is a compliment or not. I didn't notice that they were getting smoked in the faceoff circle, so maybe it wasn't as bad as the stats say. But that's, maybe I also wasn't looking in the right spots. Either way, Canes win. They play tomorrow. Feels like morning. I almost said tomorrow morning. It's a 1:00 puck drop in Boston. So hopefully they can keep it rolling.
Once again, a non-7:00 Eastern time
We're almost
puck
there.
drop.
We're almost there. I think they have the 1:00 tomorrow, and then 8 or 9 straight 7:00s, 7 p.m.
Just normalcy, please.
Just 7 p.m.s before you go out to Minnesota. Either way. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's not till November 20th. We have more from this game, 2 minutes of gold, Adam Gold's reaction coming up, and more awards list, watch list nominees to throw on the Dean's list, as well as a few others. Stick around.
For more than 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have honored over 200 student athletes that are making a difference on their team and in their community. If you are a teacher, parent, coach, or guardian, nominate your scholar athlete today. We will select one winner a month to be featured on 99.9 The Fan and on WRAL News Plus. To nominate a winner, text AWARD to 919-860-5326.
Congrats to last year's winners.
Ansley Ayers, Brianna McMillan, Samayan Jones, Kristen Norton, Lexi Taylor, EJ Reed, Isabel Woke, Nathan Fife, Rachel Lambert.
This award is more than a celebration of exceptional athletes. It's also a celebration of the schools and the communities that help them grow into the incredible leaders that we like to celebrate.
It means a lot to me to just be able to be recognized in such a wide area with so many amazing athletes. So I just feel great to feel like someone's seeing all the hard work that I've been putting into my sport and my academics. So I'm very grateful for it.
It means a lot to me because my parents, they want me to do well and make it in life. So it's just for them. I try to work hard in the classroom and on the court for them and do my best.
I'm so thankful for my coaches and my teammates and my parents who have just made this possible.
Congratulations to all of our Coastal Credit Union Scholar Athletes of the Month. If you want to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326.
YouTube TV customers get the sports you love on ESPN back, including college football, college game day, Monday Night Football, NBA, college basketball, and more. Act now. Go to keepmynetworks.com to get ESPN back.
Lenovo is celebrating 20 years of calling the Triangle home. Through our Evolve Small program, we're supporting minority and women-owned small businesses by delivering technology to make jobs more accessible and inclusive. Here's to 20 more years of empowering local businesses and driving innovation together.
This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Happy Halloween, everybody. We had our office celebration, some good costumes, some food, some banter. Hopefully you're having similar Halloween festivities wherever you are. Dennis, Halloween candy, top 3, go.
Top 3, Twix, Reese's Cups.
Ooh.
Kit Kat.
Okay. That was for you all couldn't see my side of that. The first 2 said with confidence, and it felt like he was just going to rattle off. It was going to be like boom, boom, boom. And about 3/4 of the way to saying the third, he slammed on the brakes and went, "Hold on now, let me think about this." I only got one more slot here. I thought
plenty of good options. But yeah, Twix, Reese's Cups, that's 1-2 for me easily.
All right. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Here's the deal. Last night, the Canes won. It was, actually appropriately talk about Halloween. I saw somebody on First Goal Scored Predictions yesterday on Twitter said, weird things always happen against the Islanders. I kind of built off that onto weird things happen the day before Halloween. And that explains some of what happened last night in the Canes game, right? Mike Riley, shorthanded, wraparound goal. It was a little spooky, right? A little unusual. But either way, it was a win for the Canes. And for more reaction, our very own Adam Gold with 2 minutes of gold.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I've got 2 minutes for a first, a second, and another second, and 2 points from last night's 6-2 win over the Islanders, and it's all brought to us by Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Visit parkwaysleep.com. So the first, you never forget your first. In the first, the kid gets it done.
Jankowski will get to it along the left wing. Going to be given away to shot. He scores! Bradley Nadeau, his first NHL goal. He wrists it past Riddick, and it's 1-0 Carolina.
Congratulations to Bradley Nadeau. As for the second, it came in the third, and it was Andre again.
Andrei Svechnikov flying through it. He scores! He never broke stride. Oh, that is the magic. Andrei Svechnikov, his second goal of the season. He scored in 2 straight, and Mr. Svechnikov might be back in the neighborhood.
glory be, we might have seen the awakening of Andrei Svechnikov, and it comes at a great time, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But as for the other second, the second in goal, Brandon Bussey, doing it again, now 3-1 as a Hurricane.
Bussey explodes to make the save on Heineman. Bussey makes the save and hangs on. Now the Islanders get one out in front. Bussey makes the save. Oh, dear, Bussey, it was Kyle Palmieri all alone in front, and Bussey having none of it. He took his candy.
Carolina, you could argue, really won the game in the first period. Bussey was at his best. He needed to be at his best because the Islanders had 7 grade A scoring chances, and Bussey turned aside all of those. The only goal was from distance, and it came through a screen. Brandon was excellent last night. He does need some help with a poke check. He can talk to Carolina's third goalie, Pyotr Kochetkov, about that. The only downside to last night's 6-2 win, Seth Jarvis leaving the game late with an injury. Hopefully, it won't be too bad, but I think we're all fearing the worst there. Hurricanes, 6. Islanders, 2. Parkway Sleep Health Center. Sound sleep, sound health, sound off for a massive bus. We love a bus.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Brandon Bussey is just a cool story. It's just, I like stories like that. Guys that stuck with it, kept grinding, got their opportunity, took advantage of it through 4 starts at least, taking advantage of it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Thank you to Adam for 2 minutes of gold. Now let's jump into the Dean's List. The Dean's List, where we honor those a few extra accolades, give a little extra praise to those in the college sports world that we hold so near and dear, have earned it. Let's start with our requirements, right? We if you want school, class, I don't know, syllabus rule here on the Dean's List. If you are on one of the teams we cover and you are added to a national awards watch list, preseason watch list, midseason watch list, we bring it up here on the Dean's List to make sure you get your due. Obviously, if you win, you'll likely be on this list a bunch of times, but just being nominated, pretty cool deal. Starting with, for today, Hoop Hall announced the 20 players on the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Center of the Year preseason watch list. College basketball, this is the men's side. Patrick Gangba and Henry Vesar of Duke and UNC, respectively, both amongst the top 20 on the list. Wildly different players. Right, this just goes to show how basketball has kind of become positionless, or at least varied and versatile in so many different ways. They're both, probably going to be the starting 5 if you number your positions on for Duke and UNC, but they're going to be asked to do different things. They'll execute it in different ways. Their body types are different, a lot of different there, but both wildly important to their squads and amongst the top 20 preseason centers, according to the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Center of the Year watch list. On the women's side, the Lisa Leslie Center of the Year top 20 preseason award watch list includes Tilda Trieger from NC State. She is on the list as one of the top 20 preseason centers on the women's side. So between the 3 schools in the triangle, men's and women's basketball, you got one from Duke, one from UNC, one from NC State. We're the Mecca. We're the epicenter, everybody. I think next week I'm just going to total it up, right? Because they get put out the point guard watch list Monday, shooting guard Tuesday, all the way through. Like, there's double digits when you include men's and women's on the watch lists for best at their position just here in the triangle. It's pretty impressive. So they end up on the Dean's List. Dennis, do you have anyone you like to throw on the Dean's List?
I do. I actually have a few I want to throw out there.
Let's hear it.
John Rothstein of CBS Sports actually did his preseason All-American teams. And included on those teams are first team. He actually has Darian Williams from NC State, first team All-American. He also has a third team All-American preseason. He has Cameron Boozer from Duke. So a couple local guys there from the state of North Carolina.
John Rothstein is high on NC State. He does a lot of talking about Will Wade turning that program around. He was one of the first I saw, and obviously if you were here watching NC State last year, you already knew about him, Paul McNeil. But there's this national buzz for Paul McNeil a little bit here, and John Rothstein was one of the first national personalities I heard kind of getting everybody on that bandwagon. So Rothstein definitely thinks State is onto something.
I can't remember. Did we do the CBS Sports had their preseason 101
we
list?
have not. I did see some of that. I haven't dove in.
Cameron Boozer was ranked number 4 from Duke, was ranked number 4 overall player. Again, this is according to CBS Sports. So this is a combination of guys. It's Gary Parrish, it's Matt Norlander, Kyle Boone. So it's a few different guys. They ranked players, they're 101 top players going into college basketball. They had Cameron Boozer ranked number 4. Darian Williams, they had ranked number 13 in the country as well. So a lot of guys from the state of North Carolina, the Triangle specifically, getting some, like I said, not a national attention.
Rightfully so. I mean, I think obviously Duke is, depending on which list you look at, ranked anywhere from like 5 to 9.
They also had Henry Vasar at number 51.
Which is similar to where we've seen him on other lists. UNC is kind of borderline ranked, right, that 23, 24, 25 area. And State is probably the widest range, right? Some are super bullish on State, think they're comfortably ranked. Some think they're just outside. But either way, there's a lot of talent right here in the Triangle.
They also had Caleb Wilson at number 61 in the country as well.
I think that's low. I'm driving the Caleb Wilson bandwagon. I think that's low.
I would agree with you on that one as well.
One more I want to throw on the Dean's list here real quickly. We've been talking a lot about ECU pitcher Trey Savage.
I'm sorry, Miss Isaiah Evans, number 53 from Duke.
Another player that I'm expecting a big season out of. We've been talking a lot about Trey Savage, so let's give some love to another former ECU athlete.
Okay.
Keaton Mitchell, running back.
Yeah.
Baltimore Ravens.
That's right.
Wasn't the craziest outcome for him. He had 4 carries, 12 yards, catch for 8, return to kick for 30 last night. He's a running back for the Ravens. First of all, if you're getting any carries on the Ravens and your name's not Derrick Henry, you must have shown them that you're pretty darn good, because they give a lot of carries to Derrick Henry. But secondly, it does look like he's completely taken over the backup spot. Justice Hill had been there most of the year. Keaton Mitchell playing his way into that position is an interesting piece, because he's a little bit more explosive than Justice Hill. And if he gets something working, if he can be like Derrick Henry, thunder, lightning, that's a pretty valuable role. And he's a former ECU guy coming back off an injury that he suffered early in his career. So good job on him. He's on the Dean's list. That'll do it for the Dean's list. Let's dismiss it. If you have submissions, if you have nominations for the Dean's list, you can always feel free to send them to us. On Twitter works at Donnelly Sports for me, at the Fan Rookie for Dennis. You want to jump in YouTube comments, wherever it is. I can't guarantee we'll put him in the Dean's list. We have to have, I don't know what our admission rate is, but we'll consider it. We'll consider it for sure.
Yeah. What's our acceptance rate here?
That's what I was looking for, the acceptance rate. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Dennis has something he'd like to tell you.
I do. Dennis Cox here with my friends over at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. I've been with the program at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. I know a lot of people have heard me talk about it plenty of times, and I have had listeners and people around the building and people that I know come up to me and ask me about it, like, hey, that thing really has worked for you, hasn't it? They hear me say that I've lost 42 pounds. And I say, yeah, it actually has. And then people that have known me for several years that run into me, covering games or whatever it might be, they physically see the transformation. And I think that's the biggest boost to the, I guess, lack of a better term, the ego, is when people say, wow, you could see the difference of the weight that you lost. And I think that's something that I noticed even just a couple of weeks into the program, was I was seeing my body transform and change right away. And the program at Raleigh Weight Loss Center, there's a lot of fad diets out there where you're going to lose a bunch of weight right away, but then eventually you're just going to put the weight right back on. The goal at Raleigh Weight Loss Center is to be opposite of that. It's not a yo-yo diet where you're up and down, up and down. It's, we're going to get you down healthy, slowly, steady, get you down, and then keep you there as well. That's the thing I'm most excited about. And, sometimes you're going to have quote-unquote cheat days. Hey, it's a holiday today. I'm going to have some stuff I probably normally wouldn't eat, but that's also okay. That's something you have to learn. At least I learned about myself with a weight loss journey, is you have to be able to forgive yourself when you have the quote-unquote cheat days. It's okay. that's something you got to keep doing, is just keep steady with the course. Raleigh Weight Loss, they're understanding of that. If you have questions about the program, give them a call, 919-897-7506, or visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com and set up a free 15-minute phone call, a free 15-minute consultation to get all your questions answered. 919-897-7506 or RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Results may vary.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, looks towards tonight's game. UNC football at Syracuse on Halloween. Could it be spooky enough for UNC to get off the schneid and get a win? Stick around to find out.
Your home shelters your dreams and protects your memories. At Baker Home Exteriors, we understand this deeply. It's why we've dedicated ourselves to caring for homes like yours. As part of the Baker Roofing family, we bring a century of expertise to every project, from roofing and siding to windows and decks. We don't just upgrade homes, we help protect the life you've built within them. Because your home is where our heart is. Visit BakerHomeExteriors.com and start your home's next chapter.
Hey everybody, Paul Eihander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. The NBA tipping off right now, and FanDuel is your home for live betting. Even if you miss the start of the game or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks, even triple doubles. And you can combine live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. However you want to play, now is the perfect time to join. FanDuel, giving all new customers $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/Paul, Paul with a capital P, and sign up today. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Or are they promising you up to 10% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you have a plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Call Trajan today, 919-205-9800. That's 919-205-9800.
Annuities, non-advisory products. DBA Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With a Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com. And get ready for the workday.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It's today going to be a challenge in how many related to Halloween songs you can find to come out of break.
Oh, that's not going to be hard at all.
All right. Well, then it'll be a choice on which ones actually make the cut and get on air.
That's the thing. I want to. It's okay to sometimes play the hits, but sometimes get a little deep cut reference there, like a Little Richard doing Casper the Friendliest Ghost.
Can't be all Monster Mash is what you're getting at?
No.
All right, we'll see how it goes. Is it spooky enough today in upstate New York for UNC to get a win? How about that for a question? Is it spooky enough? Is Bill Belichick scary enough to make Syracuse give up the W at home to the Tar Heels? It's tonight, 7:30 p.m. You give credit where it's due, okay? I don't know if it's a ton of credit that's due, but some credit is due to UNC for how they've reacted their last two games. specifically on the defensive side of the ball. They ended up a fumble on the goal line against Cal, and I mean, how many centimeters do you consider them short of getting the 2-point conversion against UVA to upset a ranked opponent?
Count them on one hand.
Yeah, that's the difference between them winning their last 2 games and being where they are now, having no power conference victories and everybody piling on. This feels, and I'm just gonna raise my hand and say I might be too close, right? I cover this team. I watch every game. There are players on the team that I am a fan of, that I like the way they play. I like the way they've carried themselves through this roller coaster of a season. Jordan Shipp amongst them, Will Hardy, the safety, amongst them. Like, there are players that I really enjoy watching. It feels right now as if they've taken big steps forward that the casual fan hasn't noticed because they haven't added up to wins yet. The last 2 games, the game at Cal and the game at against UVA, and the Virginia game, they came in as one of the best offenses in the ACC, scored 10 points in regulation. Like, there's something to build off of there. At Syracuse might be their best chance to get a power conference win. The urgency tonight for UNC has to be great in order to take the steps forward that they have made and convert that into something tangible that others will notice. Because I'll tell you right now, there are articles, there are think pieces, there are blogs in drafts right now all across the country that they're just waiting to hit send, that talk about everything negative about UNC. There was one this morning, The Ringer. The Ringer put out an article, and it didn't make a ton of sense to me. I'll explain why. The headline, matter of fact, I tweeted it out so I can go bring up the exact headline so I'm not misquoting it all. The headline, goodness gracious, it's worse than I remember. No one is having a worse time than Bill Belichick. That is the name of the article. No one is having a worse time than Bill Belichick. Now, that's not the most ridiculous take based on how things have gone since he went to UNC. And me being somebody that covers the team, I was like, I got to click it. I got to see what they know. I got to know what sources say. Click on it. Their evidence was he was short and terse with the media after last game, and they haven't won a lot. Like, that's essentially, you can read the article. Go read it for yourself. Like, tell me if my context is wrong, because I read the whole thing, and that's what I took away from it. And I'm going like, that's what you're doing? Bill Belichick could have won back-to-back Super Bowls. He's going to be short and terse with the media. Like, that's your show? That's your evidence? Or is it just cool right now to pile on with UNC? If you want to do real reporting and you want to go find sources and you want to have like legit factual evidence that says there's dysfunction in the program, I want to hear that. If you think a bunch of other people have said how bad it is and you just think it's fun and they haven't won a game yet, so you're going to go ahead and say, oh, Bill Belichick doesn't smile on the sideline, as if that's not what he's been for the last half century. If Bill Belichick was Pete Carroll his entire career, and then he's at UNC and after a loss they ask him who was the primary receiver and he said whoever's open, then yeah, we could compare that. But Bill Belichick, like, my guess is when they threw the Super Bowl winning pass to Danny Amendola and who was Brady's number one, he would have went whoever's open. Like, that's who he is. It hasn't gone well, don't get me wrong, but there is a pile-on that's happening right now. There is a pile-on. And I'm looking at the last 2 games going, has anyone noticed that their defense is playing kind of lights out right now? At least for 2 games. Offense, probably playing equally as bad as their defense has improved, but defensively, they're playing pretty lights out over the last 2 games. Is that the biggest sample size in the world? No. Absolutely not. But is it something you can hang your hat on going into a game against Syracuse, who, by the way, Syracuse football, not what they were a season ago. Syracuse football, I'll even add this, their dabbling in Florida State territory. Not like Florida State under Bobby Bowden with Peter Warwick. No, I'm talking about like the last 4 years of Florida State, which is they try to rebuild their entire roster in the transfer portal each year, and it's like hit or miss, right? You could rebuild your entire – you could have Trey Benson, future NFL running back, and Keon Coleman, future NFL receiver, and Jordan Travis. And you can grab all these great was it Jared Verse, the other guy that was drafted by the Rams. I can't think of his name.
Dude's name of dudes over here.
They're all draft picks, okay?
Yeah.
And they all came in the transfer portal, and they went undefeated and should have been CFP and weren't. The last 2 years, they've done the same thing, gone in the portal, brought in a bunch of dudes. They're not, right? It's DJ Uiagalelei. It's guys that didn't add up to draft picks, and they've stunk. Syracuse last year, they brought in Kyle McCord. They brought in this guy. They brought in that guy, and it worked out really well, and Syracuse was one of the surprises of the year. This year hasn't worked out as well, and their quarterback got hurt, and they haven't been able to sustain it. So they've lost their last 4 games, right? A team that is an offense that is known for putting up points has scored in their last 4 games 3 points against Duke, 18 against SMU, 13 against Pitt, and 16 against Georgia Tech, and I'll just say their defense has allowed significantly more than each of those. It is well within the realm of possibility, or well within the realm of logic to say, of the 2 teams coming into this game, UNC is the hotter team right now. UNC has more momentum right now. No one's ever going to say that, right? Because that's not cool, and that has nothing to do with making fun of Bill Belichick's youthful relationship, right? That's what everyone is doing, but this might be one of those things where if you pay attention, there's some things changing, and not everybody else has realized it yet. You know, it's like let me try to think of the golf example. Golf's so good for analogies. It's like somebody who's not putting well, but is reaching the green in regulation forever, like just pounding it down the middle, good approach shot. And you go, you know what? If they can put their putting together just a little bit, they're going to be winning tournaments. Everybody else is just looking at the scorecard and going, they stink. It's a bogey. It's a double bogey. And you're like, yeah, but he's averaging 3.5 putts a hole. That's kind of the way I'm looking at UNC. Their defense is playing well enough that if their offense can just be average, if they can just find a way, I don't care if it's a gimmick, if they go full wildcat and snap it to the running back every play, if it's all trick plays, they just have to find some way to put up 20 points a game. And I'm not asking for 30, 20 points a game, and they might have something.
It is interesting these last 2 games, like you say. We've seen the improvement on the defensive side of the ball, on one side of the ball, but the offense has still just been completely stagnant. It is really wild to see that only one side of the ball we've seen really true marked improvement.
Can I ask you 2 questions?
Go on.
Who's coaching the offense and who's coaching the defense?
Is that a trick question?
When you have a Belichick or 3, I'm going to expect the defense to get better quick.
You would anticipate
much more quickly than I would a Freddie Kitchens-led offense. And
fair point.
By the way, Freddie Kitchens, you can take that as an insult as you want, but there's a lot of coaches out there that would come up short to the Belichicks on defense. Like, I'm not surprised the defense is getting better. I would like to see significantly more improvement from the offense, but it is what it is. Syracuse, maybe equally as struggling, which is what all of this is boiling down to. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's tonight, 7:30, by the way. Friday game. They've had a lot of weird day games. Mondays and Thursdays and Fridays and all this weird not Saturday stuff.
It's like Canes games. Yeah. Can we get an Eastern 7 o'clock game, please?
West Coast at 10:30, which very much like the Canes games have been recently. Either way, speaking of more traditional times, the Panthers, they don't get prime time very often. They're Sunday, 1 o'clock, darn near all the time. Panthers, Packers this weekend. What does Bryce need to do? We'll answer it next.
Genie log, day 15,824. The Mega Millions jackpot is over $750 million now. I'll be stuck in this little lamp forever with nothing but all this stupid gold and rare gems. A gold-plated motorcycle? Sure does a lot of good when you live in a 10x10 magic lamp. Come find me. I'm at latitude 36.06.
Grant your own wishes. The Mega Millions jackpot is over $750 million. Must be 18 to play. Approximate jackpot odds are 1 in 291 million. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
YouTube TV customers get the sports you love on ESPN back, including college football, college game day, Monday Night Football, NBA, college basketball, and more. Act now. Go to keepmynetworks.com to get ESPN back.
This Christmas, how about making a difference with the Salvation Army of Wake County? You can volunteer to be a red kettle bell ringer and help bring hope to our neighbors in need. Just a few hours of your time helps fund meals, shelter, and vital support for families in crisis right in our area. Bell ringing's fun for everyone, individuals, families, employee teams, and church groups. It's a holiday tradition that spreads joy while changing lives. Help ring in hope this holiday season. Sign up today at registertoring.com.
Lenovo is celebrating 20 years of calling the Triangle home. Through our Evolve Small program, we're supporting minority and women-owned small businesses by delivering technology to make jobs more accessible and inclusive. Here's to 20 more years of empowering local businesses and driving innovation together.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Nothing scary about this Halloween forecast. Looking beautiful. Mid-60s this afternoon. It's a little breezy but sunny. When the trick-or-treaters head out, temperatures will be near 60, dropping into the mid-50s. But we do dip into the upper 30s late tonight, and there's a frost advisory in some of our north and western counties. Saturday, 65 and sunny, but some rain Sunday night into Monday.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 40 points today to 47,562.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Football at 4 today focuses on Panthers versus Packers. On the road at Lambeau. Big game. Good team. Good opponent for the Carolina Panthers. They, according to the injury reports, will have their quarterback back. Bryce Young not even listed on the most recent injury report, which means he'll play. Right, that's what I mean, barring some kind of misstep or setback in the next 48 hours, he'll be in there. He'll be playing for the Carolina Panthers to start. The question is he ready? Right? How much did the injury take him out of game form, get him out of whatever rhythm he was in when they won 3 consecutive games? Dave Canales, head coach, spoke with the media, and he was asked how Bryce handled the week, meaning practice and everything, physically. This is what Dave Canales had to say.
Better and better. Handled the week really well. Each day just kind of ramped up some of the things we were exposing him to. He looked awesome. Working with his guys, just getting in there, leading, communicating, and, physically just looked like he's ready to go.
Looks like he's ready to go. What does ready to go mean for Bryce Young? Ready to go pick up a first down running with 3rd and 8? Ready to go throw it away on any play where somebody gets within arm's distance to protect the football? Ready to go. What does ready to go mean? Because I think the Andy Dalton experiment, whatever you want to call what happened last week.
The experience.
The Andy Dalton experience emphasized how when the Panthers are right or when they are trying to get right, the most – and I don't even want to signal out the Panthers on this, although it's super obvious for the Panthers, but most football, the quarterback absolutely cannot make the critical errors. I've used this term in the past, but I've had coaches tell me, I've never benched a quarterback for throwing it away. Just protect the football, be smart, let the play go if you're unsure. Right? The thing that has really stuck in like the pebble in my shoe this week is that the interception, the one where the guy was, right in his face of Andy Dalton, he checked to that play. He changed the play to that call, and then it ended up being an abject disaster that set the team back. And it's almost like, when, I don't know, you see it in TV shows more, when you have a decision to make or you're missing somebody, and everywhere you look, you see it, right? Out of the peripheral, you're like, oh, and then you look over, and it's some person that just looks like him or whatever. We're talking with Gino Torretta. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, 92 Heisman Trophy winner. He's on the call for Oklahoma, Tennessee, which you can hear here on 99.9 The Fan this weekend. And I don't even remember how we got there, but about changing the play at the line of scrimmage, he started talking about what Coach Erickson, right, Dennis Erickson told him way back in the 80s and 90s, right? You can change the play, you have full autonomy, but it better work. Right? That's what he was told back in his college days. And obviously, when he did it, it did work because he went on to win the Heisman in 2 national championships. But that's the stuff that I think needs to be hammered home for Bryce. Like, yeah, you can try to fit it into a small window, but it better work. Yeah, you can change the play, but it better work. Because if not, just run the play as it's called, and if it's not there, throw it away, and we'll live to play another day. Now, obviously, you need a plan B, and we've talked about it. I don't know what the Panthers' plan B is, right? If the Rico Dowdle is bottled up, the running game, Chuba Hubbard is bottled up, or if the Packers come out and Josh Jacobs is running all over you and you're down 2 scores, then you have to break glass in case of emergency, and maybe you do turn to Bryce and say we got to air it out and take some chances. But that's got to be like a conscious change. Until you're given the go-ahead to air it out and take some chances, you have to make sure you are not the reason that the game is lost. I think that's become – and Cam Newton does it. Cam Newton does the trucks and trailers conversation where, some quarterbacks are trucks. They take their team, they power their team to a championship, and then some are trailers, right? They're just along for the ride. Somebody else is driving it. And you hear, can you win because of or can you win with? That's another way to say it. There's, are you a game manager or are you a game changer? We have all of these different sayings that make it seem like if you just protect the football and don't make mistakes, that it's a negative, right? Oh, you're a trailer. Oh, you're a game manager, right? Oh, we can win with you. We can't win because of you. It's like this big negative. I want to look at Bryce and say, just be an awesome trailer, right? Be shiny, right? Fresh out the car wash, running smooth, aerodynamic, efficient with space. Like, be a great trailer. And let the running game be the engine, be the truck. Let somebody else be the truck. Like, that's the way I want to look at it until, right, Jordan Love finds Romeo Dobbs for 2 early touchdowns or something, and then you call him over and go, hey, I need to get in the driver's seat. All right, now you're going to have to be a truck here for a little bit, and we'll see how that goes.
Well, let's also not forget who's really the driver of that. That's Dave Canales. He chooses what gear they're in. There's been plenty of times where it felt like, hey, it's only 10-0. It's early in the second quarter. He starts throwing the football. Whereas opposed to the Dolphins game, they're down, 17-0? Mm-hmm. Let's start turning and handing the ball to Rico Dowdle, and that's what was driving it. To me, Dave Canales is one that holds those keys.
I want to be clear, and I'm glad you asked for the clarification. I'm talking about what the messaging should be to Bryce, right? And Bryce then has to be coachable and do what he's being asked. I'm talking about what they tell Bryce, right? And maybe it'll help going, all right, did you see what happened with Andy last week? We need to avoid that at all costs. And if that means you feel like you don't have your fingerprints all over the win, we're good with that. Like if that means you feel like at the end, you only threw for 160 yards, but you avoided turnovers and you came up with a couple third down conversions, we're good there. Okay? And if we need to change this, we will, but I don't want you to do that on your own, right? I don't want you to decide on some 3rd and long when you drop back and you start scrambling. Well, it's 3rd and long. Now I'm going to be the truck. No, like that, we'll let you know. Because, like you said, we've been down 17 and we've come back to win. The one thing I would say is I believe the reason they could stay committed to the run down 17 is because they did not respect the Miami Dolphins offense at all. And if you need reasons for them not to respect it, go watch Thursday Night Football from last night.
Yeah, for real.
With the Packers 17-0, I probably would go, let's air it out.
For sure.
But 10-0, I'm going, no, let's especially like 10-0 and you get the ball to start the second half or something like that. Like, no, let's make sure we get Rico going. Nothing changes, which is crazy to think. For me, nothing changes for what you ask the quarterback to do between Andy Dalton and Bryce Young. The difference may change what your plan B or plan C is if what you're originally asking them to do doesn't work, and it may change how quality you expect them to execute it, right? You may expect Bryce to do a little bit better job. You may expect Bryce to have a little bit more of the playbook at his disposal. But like if I were grading the quarterbacks, the rubric I would set pre-game is very similar for Andy Dalton last week and Bryce Young this week. Now, obviously, Andy Dalton, when I graded the rubric after the game, would have a lot of, red pen, right? A lot of see me after class, a lot of incomplete, a lot of, bad grades. But the rubric is the same. Did you protect the football? Did you get the ball where it was supposed to go quickly? Which we need to emphasize. And we're going to talk with Mike Glennon later this hour, or air a conversation with Mike Glennon later this hour, and we talked about this. And we get some insight into how you might deal with it. But there's Micah Parsons on the other side of the field this week. Get rid of the ball fast.
Yeah, he and Rashawn Gary.
Get rid of the ball fast. Know where they are. Slide the protections that way. If you are great with your decisions in that respect, that's a big part of your group rubric. If you get the you and, by the way, you're working with a new old center, right, because Cade Mays is out. If you're in the right protections and you're sliding towards Micah Parsons most, if not all of the time, and you know where your help is and you know when you have to get rid of it quick, that matters. That matters in a big way. I'll even use an example from last night, Thursday Night Football. Dual screening with the Canes game. NC State's former Defensive Player of the Year, Bradley Chubb, he got matched up one-on-one with a fullback. You know what he did to that fullback? Who, by the way, though, I forget the guy's name for he's a really good fullback for the Ravens. He's like an old guard. He used to be a guard, 300 pounds or whatever, big dude. Bradley Chubb put him on his back, just absolutely lit him up. And the part was Lamar knew it was coming, right? The part was it's not like every protection has an answer for everything, but it's one thing to get. Think, all right, that guy's blocked. I don't have to pay attention to him. And it's another thing as the quarterback to know there's a potential leaky spot right there. I need to be prepared to dump it off, unload it, tuck it and run, whatever it is, if and when that ends. So when you have Micah Parsons one-on-one with really anybody, all right, guess what? My internal alarm clock just went from 1, 2, 3. Now my internal alarm clock is 1, 2, 3, right? Like you change it up based on your protection. Not like there's an easy answer for dealing with Micah Parsons, but I can tell you one way to frustrate him is get rid of the ball fast.
By the way, last year when Micah Parsons was playing for the Dallas Cowboys at Bank of America Stadium, he had 4 tackles, including 2 sacks.
Yeah, well then you should know all about him, Bryce.
I know, for real.
There should be absolutely no doubts.
Wreaked havoc in that game.
Patrick Ricard, by the way, is the fullback I was talking about. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. For more like quarterback nerdy stuff on how they might deal with Micah Parsons, stick around. About 4:45. We'll air that conversation with Mike Glennon. In the meantime, when we come back, we have the Ladder Challenge, last day of the month, and I'm not happy. Next.
The Adam Gold Show.
I know this is going to sound crazy, but maybe Bill Belichick was right. Maybe they are getting better, at least on the defensive side of the ball. I've seen improvement there in the last couple of weeks. The truth is, their offense isn't getting any better. Gio Lopez probably isn't a guy that's going to win you any ACC games, but defensively, they do look improved. So maybe we got to hand it to the head coach about that.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
I'm glad you agreed to this date, Mr. First Tuesday.
Oh, me too, but I have to admit something. I've never been on a first date.
But you are a date, and first is in your name.
Yeah, I guess I've just been married to my work, you know? Spreading the news about new scratch-offs coming out every first Tuesday.
New scratch-offs release every first Tuesday?
Wait, you don't know about new scratch-off tickets that come out the Okay. Well, okay. You got me.
Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Because you guys do everything for the exterior of your home, these things can add up. And there are a lot of people who think, I can't afford this. How can the Aluminum Company make it easier?
Yeah, well, Adam, we have plans that are 12 months, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 12 months, which make it super affordable for people to do anything on their home, whether it's windows, siding, doors, roofing, gutters, any kind of exterior home improvement. The Aluminum Company has financing plans that can fit in your budget and make it easy.
So wait a second. I can get everything done, no interest, and no payments for 12 months?
Yeah, and you get a lifetime warranty once the project's done.
I get a lifetime warranty once the project is done?
Yes, sir.
What about my down payment?
No down payment, no
What?
deposit.
No down payment, no deposit.
No payment until the project's done.
No payment till the project's done.
Exactly.
Where do I sign up? Aluminum Company of North Carolina, aluminumcompany.com.
YouTube TV customers get the sports you love on ESPN back, including college football, college game day, Monday Night Football, NBA, college basketball, and more. Act now. Go to keepmynetworks.com to get ESPN back.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/play.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Now we're in the sweet spot. Is the Monster Mash. Do you do this to cheer me up because you knew my ladder challenge bet lost last night?
I can't remember what. I know yours was Thursday Night Football related. I can't remember what yours was.
I teased the over-under all the way down to 39.5. Final score was 28-6.
Oh. Yeah, those late interceptions and turnovers by Miami hurt you.
And missed extra points. And Miami is apparently the worst team in the world in the red zone. And
yeah, they stink.
And the refs decided to take away a completion for Miami down to the 7-yard line for no reason because the running back slipped, and they said it was a trip. And even with replay assist, they didn't want to go back and change it. The Ravens did their part, I guess, scoring 28, but it was the most dominant 28. With how well the offense played and Lamar Jackson back in action, throwing for his passer rating was darn near perfect. You should have had 40 at 28. So either way, I lost them back down to $10, which is the worst possible time for that to happen because it's whoever has the most money at the end of the month. And I've been in the lead for most of it, and now it's the last day of the month, and I'm down to $10. So Dennis, take it away. What happened for you, and what are you going to do next?
Well, I think it's important as well that we play the proper intro here.
No, it's not that important.
Jeff Hardy, for the love of God, Jeff
Well, I think your spirits might be broken smack dab in half there, Tim. Seeing as how I'm up to $30.30 because Kyle Connor of the Winnipeg Jets had 2+ shots on goal yesterday. He had exactly 2, including a goal yesterday. So, I got that going for me. So the only thing I need to do is just to win. Just to win tonight. And that one's going to be pretty simple. Cutter Gauthier of the Anaheim Ducks, they're taking on the Detroit Red Wings tonight. Cutter Gauthier, 2+ shots on goal. It's a -900, so my $30.30 will turn into $33.66. He averages 5.1 shots on goal a game.
Rooting for you.
I'm sure you are.
I'm going back to football. Chargers +2.5 over Tennessee. They are an obvious favorite. Tennessee ruled out Justin Simmons. They ruled out Calvin Ridley. They ruled out a bunch of guys.
Are they out, or are they, like in the NHL, sitting for possible trade purposes? Like a full Michael Bunting situation.
Well, I guess Tennessee could be sellers. Actually, Simmons, I think, is the one. They said the reports are out there that they'll trade anyone other tthan the guy they just drafted #1 overall and Simmons, their big defensive lineman. So he's out. I've teased the Chargers all the way to +2.5. It's -710. Turn my $10 into $11.40, but the odds and the payout are less important because the only way I win is if Dennis gets it wrong and I get it right. So give me the Chargers +2.5.
There it is.
All right, that's the ladder challenge. You can end the music now. You can just cut that off. You can go back to the Monster Mash if you want. That's always welcome. We don't need the ladder challenge music that often. This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. As always, you can follow along on our YouTube live stream, 99.9 The Fan. Subscribe while you're there. Check out not during the show, but another time. There's videos, podcasts, clips from this show, clips from the Adam Gold Show. We put a lot of work into that YouTube page. A new Pack Therapy episode just came out today, talking about NC State football. A lot of big picture stuff in this week's episode, in addition to diving into the individual games. So check it all out, 99.9 The Fan, YouTube. We'd appreciate it. And subscribe while you're there and tell your friends. Talking about NC State, why don't we do a little bit of that? NC State versus #8 Georgia Tech, Saturday at home, 7:30 p.m. Correct me if I'm wrong on this one, Dennis. Taking pure stereotype, right? Pure I'm Charlie Brown. I'm not going to fall for it again. Lucy. Is it Lucy that always pulls the ball away? NC State fans are probably at their wits' end, right? They lost their last 4 against power conference opponents. They've gotten handled pretty good by Notre Dame and Pitt in their last 2 games. The coach, Dave Doran, has made some comments that has riled up some of the fan base. They have a ranked team, #8 in the country in Georgia Tech, although not everybody is fully believing in Georgia Tech as a top 10 team. Coming to Carter Finley for a night game. Doesn't this scream the game that Dave Doran wins and then goes salty Dave after the game? Not looking at the football at all or how the matchup happens, just like stereotype of the narrative. This is the one that Dave Doran wins and everybody goes, I can't quit you. Like that. This is the one that, just when I thought I was out, you bring me right back in. This would be the one. And again, depending on where you're looking, where you're asking, who you're asking, might need it, right? Might need either this week or next week, and then to take care of business in the last 2. So get one of the ranked opponents, either Georgia Tech or Miami on the road, Georgia Tech at home or Miami on the road, and then win both down the stretch if they want to, have any kind of momentum going into next year. It's not an easy task. Georgia Tech obviously is undefeated for a reason. Here's Dave Doran on what makes Georgia Tech so tough.
A team that mirrors their head coach's personality, an offensive line coach that loves physicality. That's what all O-line coaches are built on. I love the way they play. It's definitely a game where you got to show up physical. Blocking, tackling, the 2 biggest parts of this sport still. It's going to be a battle. It is. And there's a lot of rules that are tested when you play their team. I think they do a great job of testing the rules of your schemes. Whether it's the edges and how you're going to play them, whether it's your coverage checks, and you're going to see, a lot of formations, which you do in college football anyway. But with them, you'll see multiple motions and shifts on the same play. And so just trying to create angles and leverage and missed gaps by guys not using the system correctly on defense. And so it's a physical test for sure, but they do a good job testing you mentally as well with their offensive system.
I love that Dave Doran thinks of Brent Key in the same way that I reference on this show all the time. He is an offensive line coach. And if you've been around if you've been around a college football team, you know exactly what that means, right? He's an offensive line coach. Everyone's like, oh, got it. Cool. Right? Like if you were playing Brent Key in a movie and you're like, I just don't get this character. Director would go, all right, he's an offensive line coach. You'd go, oh, got it. Cool. Could we put some snow on the ground? I want to wear shorts and flip-flops. Like he's an offensive line coach. And you get that when you're playing against Georgia Tech. You get a team that is coached by an offensive line coach. So NC State is going to have to show up. Where have they been vulnerable this year? Quite a bit in the trenches. They're going to have to show up with their hard hats on, right? All the blue-collar talk that Dave Doran gives about his program so often, that's what's going to have to show up this week because you have a blue-collar team, a hard-working physical team coming into your house. And the other part I want to highlight is what he said about the I call it traffic cop stuff, right? Multiple shifts, multiple motions on a bunch of plays. A lot of that falls on the quarterback, right? You got to know where everybody's supposed to line up, where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be there. Are two guys moving at the same time? All right, we all need to get set. Are you on the line and you shouldn't? Hey, back up. Like the quarterback has to be a great traffic cop. I'm gonna let you in on a little journey I went on this morning about Haynes King. So Haynes King is the quarterback for Georgia Tech. I knew he played at Texas A&M prior to coming to Georgia Tech in the transfer portal. But ahead of this game, I vaguely remembered a documentary about the Elite 11. Okay, if you don't know what the Elite 11 is, it is the premier, most competitive high school quarterback competition for prospects. It used to be, back when I was playing in earlier, they named the 11 best quarterbacks in the country. And then they would take those 11 top recruits to a camp somewhere, and they'd get to throw with the best college quarterbacks and who were considered counselors. And it was a really prestigious deal. It was a big deal. There were regional camps, and you would try to advance, and it was a whole thing. Nowadays, they bring like 20, and they compete at the camp to be the final 11 and name the 11, and there's an MVP. It's a whole thing. But it's still a big deal. Very, very prestigious for high school quarterback prospect stuff. They did like a I don't know, a YouTube documentary on when Haynes King was there. And I remembered watching it because I'm that kind of quarterback nerd. So I was like, I want to go find it. And I found it. Okay. And there's a bunch of episodes. They're all like, I don't know, 12 minutes long. And I just fired one up. Do you know who he was competing with? He finished third in Elite 11 MVP voting. Haynes King, the quarterback who's playing for Georgia Tech this weekend at NC State, he finished third in Elite 11 MVP voting. You know who number one was? C.J. Stroud. You know who number two was? Bryce Young. You know who number three was? Haynes King.
Okay.
Same recruiting class. Bryce Young has been benched. He's taking his job back. He's been benched. He's taken his job back. He's lived a life in the NFL after sitting a year, playing a year, winning the Heisman Trophy, playing another year, being the number one overall pick, playing a year with Frank Reich and Thomas Brown, whatever you want to call that, playing a year with Dave Canales, and now he's in the next year with Dave Canales. Haynes King's still in college. So, yeah, they probably do trust him with more pre-snap stuff. They probably do trust the 6-year veteran to run a bit more complicated scheme, right? That's part of what you're up against, right? Haynes King is becoming this cult figure in college football, right? The football guys love him, right? He's a tough quarterback. I'm a big fan of the way he plays. There is an inherent advantage to being in Bryce Young's recruiting class and still playing in college. He's seen everything twice, 3 times. Now, compared to the other side, right? C.J. Bailey for NC State. I think I did the math earlier today. He's thrown at least 20 passes in 19 career games. Now, obviously, a few of those thrust into action after Grayson McCall injuries, right? Like didn't get the reps all week, and all of a sudden, first quarter, halfway through it, you're in. So we'll call it, say, 16. 16 games. Haynes King had that 5 years ago. That's the difference, right? C.J. Bailey's got to do a lot of, and as he should as a young quarterback, worrying about himself. He's taken a few step backs in the decision-making process the last couple of games. He's got plenty on his plate just worrying about him. Haynes King's out there. He can look at the big picture a bit more. He knows his own strengths and weaknesses. That's what you're up against. You have to out-execute an offense led by a guy that could probably be a coach. And matter of fact, guys like Grayson McCall, who probably were maybe in this exact same recruiting class, literally is a coach. He's on the coaching staff of Coastal Carolina. That's what they're dealing with. Now, with that being said, even with 6-year quarterback Haynes King, their passing game is not the most fearful in the ACC.
No, far from it.
He has, I think, 7 passing touchdowns, 12 rushing touchdowns. So that's a benefit for State, right? They've been vulnerable through the air. They just gave up 400 yards to a freshman quarterback for Pitt, right? The secondary hasn't quite lived up to expectations. Focus on tackling, getting the job done against Haynes King, the runner. If you're going to pull off an upset, that's probably where it all starts.
I always feel that Georgia Tech is always due for an upset every year, as in being upset. Remember last year they lost to Virginia Tech. Now, I think Haynes King actually didn't play in that game because he was dealing with some injuries and stuff at that time. But so you lost to Virginia Tech last year. You also look back a couple years ago. They lost to Bowling Green. They lost to Boston College. So this team always seems like as good as they are and as tough as they are. So this feels like there's one game every year you go, really? You lost that one?
There's a Virginia basketball element to it, which is when you get down to Georgia Tech by like 8 points, it feels like you're down 22 to some other teams because their drives take up so much time and everything else. Just like Virginia basketball, if they get up by 5, it feels like they're up 15 because they slow it down and they grind and pack line defense and all that. But what it does expose them a bit to upsets, right? Because as wide a gap as 8 points feels like when you're playing Georgia Tech, you are one fluke play away in a 2-point conversion from being tied.
Yeah.
So I think they're gettable for State. They're going to play their A-plus game. State will, if they're going to pull it off. But it's a gettable win there. If you don't play your A-plus game, it can get away from you quick. But if you do, there's a chance.
I mean, Wake Forest almost beat them.
Hey, Wake Forest is, 5-2, something like that?
Yeah, but one of those 2 losses is a State.
And some might say it should have been a win.
There's
Referees. Which I don't like blaming referees, but that one's just it's kind of right on the
Sometimes
surface.
things are egregious.
And when it leads so directly, like if they throw this flag, which they should have thrown, game over, they win. Sometimes when it's like, we should have had the first down, I'm like, you're still on your own 18-yard line, and there's 14 seconds left for you getting field goal range. Like, I'm not just going to say you would have won if they threw the flag. For Wake Forest, it was literally they throw the flag, first down, you can take knees, game over. That's the only reason why I keep bringing it up. The Drive of Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, and if Georgia Tech wins, obviously it's probably better for the ACC, but you don't put the conference's hopes above you. Another game this weekend, Duke at Clemson. Stakes are high. Stakes are high for Duke. After losing to Georgia Tech before their bye week, they still have like most of their goals right there in front of them, right? If you take care of business in the ACC from this point forward, it's kind of a direct path to the ACC championship game, and that means CFP is still at play and everything else because the auto bids. With that being said, most of that goes away if you lose to Clemson. Right, most of that goes away because you've lost to Georgia Tech. Goes away if you lose to Clemson. So you're on the road at Clemson at noon. This is, and I'll say it the same way I said it before Georgia Tech. This is why you pay Darian Mensah. This is why you pay Darian Mensah all of the money and reportedly, $4 million for your quarterback. This is why, to win this game. To outperform a team that probably has, on paper, more talent than you. To go out there and execute. And the challenge with Duke is exactly what it's been all year. The challenge with Duke, and I want to say I talked about it immediately. Like the good news is this isn't 2020 hindsight. When they beat Elon week 1, this was one of our talking points the following, Monday or Friday, because that was a Thursday game. Through 3 quarters, Duke absolutely dominated, and it was a close game against Elon. Right? They ended up pulling away, but it was a lot of fluke stuff going on. There was a punt return. There was defensive plays. I want to say Darian Mensah threw for 380 yards, and it was a 1-score game at that point. And then they won 45-17, and he had thrown for like 389 yards at the end of the game. They were dominant, and it didn't show up on the scoreboard. And then there were games, I want to say Tulane was the same way. Georgia Tech in the first half was the most obvious example of it, where they were dominant. They were moving the ball up and down the field, and you look at the scoreboard, and it's like 7-7. That's Duke's challenge, right? When you're playing well, capitalize. When you're dominating a game, be up 2 scores. Don't dominate the first half, go into halftime tied, and then get outplayed a bit in the second half and lose the game. Right? You have to see the product of your efforts. Darian Mensah, I don't know if it's true as of right now. I know it was true earlier this week, but we have some midweek games now, which may have changed a stat or two. Darian Mensah, as of earlier this week, was number 1 in the country amongst players that had played, I think it was at least 4 games. Number 1 in the country in yards per game passing. Number 1. It's not number 1 in the ACC. It's not number 1 in Power Conference. It's number 1 in yards per game passing. If you have that kind of yardage production, you should score more points than they're scoring. That's it's right there, and it's been the problem all year. We've talked about it all year. So against Clemson, you can't afford to leave change on the table, leave meat on the bone, whatever your metaphor is. If you drive from your own 10 down to their 30, first of all, you better come away with points. And second of all, you got to count by 7s way more often than you count by 3s. Right? And maybe this is a Manny Diaz thing where I'm going to start asking him to, go for it on more 4ths, right? Take the chances. Try to go for the kill shot, the jugular shot on deep balls and whatever you got to do. But you can't have another half where you're outgaining them, 200-80 and it's a tie ball game. And I forget what the exact was for Georgia Tech, but there was a point in time in the first half where it was like 250-80 in total yards, and the score was within a field goal. At Clemson, you let that happen. Dabo Swinney might not be coaching a team that's as good as, the Trevor Lawrence teams or the Deshaun Watson's teams, but if you let them hang around, they'll find something. Cade Klubnik may not be the ACC Player of the Year like he was last year, but if you give him 9 lives, one of those lives he's going to throw a couple touchdowns.
Let's also not forget as well, both these teams are coming off bye weeks, and Duke specifically, they've barely played this whole month of October. I think they had, 2 games this entire month because they had like a bye week, then they had a game, and they had another bye week as well. So it's just they haven't really played a lot the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, so their game is on November 1st, obviously. Yep. That's tomorrow. They played October 4th at Cal.
Mm-hmm.
They played October 18th versus Georgia Tech. And
that's it.
And that's it.
Yeah. So they've played 2 games in a month.
So let's see if they fixed it.
Yeah.
So they haven't won a game since October 4th.
Yeah, I know. I actually know Manny Diaz said it earlier this week that one thing they did with this second bye week is that they had the offensive staff look at the defense and the defensive staff look at the offense to kind of self-scout, be like, all right, how would you beat us? Like, what are you seeing? So just to get a different set of eyes on stuff, which I always find is a fun process for a lot of teams, but Dabo Swinney's doing the exact same thing.
Yeah,
at least you anticipate they are.
Dabo, listen, there's a lot that I disagree with about Dabo Swinney, how he's handled the transfer portal, some of the things he says about his program. I don't always agree with him. It's pretty hard to argue that he doesn't know how to get a college football team on track, right? He's got 2 national championships, and Clemson wasn't exactly a behemoth when he took it over. So, credit where it's due there. I would love to hear what the Duke offense. I got fly on the wall. That would be really fun because I actually really respect both the Duke offensive coaching staff and the Duke defensive coaching staff. The defensive coaching staff led by Manny Diaz and Brewer leading the offensive coaching staff, who I think is a couple more big offensive production years away from maybe getting his own head coaching shot. Like I would love to hear what they would like, you know, how they would beat each other, right? On this is kind of a cheat answer, but I was on a ESPN radio the night of the Heisman Trophy when they announced Travis Hunter was the winner, and it was pretty cool. Like right after he walked off stage, they put him on a phone with us, and one of the questions we asked was like, "All right, 1-on-1, wide receiver Travis Hunter versus defensive back Travis Hunter, who's going to win?" Because I wanted to hear how he would attack, and his response was, "Every single time, the 2024 Heisman Trophy winner's coming away with the win." And I was like, oh, you got me on the technical.
Well played there.
Yeah. Touche.
Yeah, who wins, Travis? Okay. All right.
It was obviously a flex play, but when you win the Heisman Trophy, you get to do that. For Duke, I would love to I wish we could hear that. How would Manny Diaz stop Darian Mensah from throwing for 300 yards? How would that coaching staff open up Cooper Barkate against Chandler Rivers? Like I would love to hear that because I do think they're a pretty complete team, but you can't argue with the fact that, you know, probably the three or definitely the two best opponents they've played, Illinois and Georgia Tech, they've lost and really lost in the second half. So they have things they need to fix, even though they seem pretty complete.
And let's also not lose sight of the fact that Duke does tangibly have something to play for. They have one loss in the ACC. Now, granted, Georgia Tech is undefeated. Virginia's undefeated in conference. Pitt, Louisville, SMU, Duke, Miami all have one loss in conference, but you still have a chance to potentially work your way up into being in the ACC championship game. You have that as a goal.
And I started it with that. Like,
yeah,
most of your goals are right there in front of you. However, if you lose to Clemson, most of those go away.
Yeah, it kind of kills that.
So, you know, whatever hopes you have, you got to win this one to roll with. And oh, by the way, it's on the road at Clemson in the middle of the day. Like, it's not an easy one.
And then you have Virginia left on your schedule as well. Like, if you win the rest of your ACC games, you are there in the mix for the number 2 spot in the ACC. Because you have Virginia, who's the only other undefeated team other than Georgia Tech in the conference. So you are in the mix there with one loss, depending on how Pitt, Louisville, SMU, all these other teams shake out.
And there are 4 teams, I believe 4 in the top 16 in the ACC now. So the strength of the conference is rising a bit. You make the conference championship, and you appear to have your ducks in a row over the next 4 or 5 games, you'll rise, right? And hopefully the reputation is to the point where you're getting 3 teams in the CFP, and it becomes really interesting. Either way, I think we'll be talking much more definitively about Duke on Monday. Either definitively, they are what we thought they were, they're a pretty good team, they handled their business, or definitively, man, it seems like they're leaving some change on the table here and not getting it done. That's The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Next on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan, Mike Glennon stopped by the studio earlier today. NC State former quarterback, longtime NFL quarterback. We talked quite a bit about the Panthers matchup with the Packers, how you might attack Micah Parsons, or more importantly, try to dull the attack of Micah Parsons towards you. Hear that from Mike coming up next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Man, it started off rough for Dan Campbell. He was able to right the ship. One day we started out 0-10-1. Everybody was going back to the introductory press conference, talking about how awkward it was, being a kneecap biter and all of that stuff. Now everybody loves that stuff. Just give it time to fully bake when it comes to Aaron Glenn. He can't go winless, but I think Aaron Glenn finds a way to keep his job going into 2026.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I travel coast to coast covering hockey. But when I'm back home, I head to my home away from home. Buffalo Brothers. For the best wings on the planet, you can't beat their specials at all 5 of their Triangle locations. Every pro football game day, you can get Miller Lite Draft for $4.50 and Blue Moon Draft for $5.50. Pet-friendly patio too. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
Bank of America is a nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in the Triangle. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
This is what WRAL weather coverage sounds
severe
like.
Thunderstorm warning right now in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
When your safety is a priority.
An indication that there is a tornado on the ground, so get in your safe spot
in this area, get in your safe spot right now.
With the tools that make a difference.
WRAL Storm Tracker is inside the storm.
WRAL has the only dual Doppler radar in Wake County.
Hear it and see it every day.
It looks like the storm is doing exactly what we predicted to do.
That's WRAL News. Weather coverage you can count on.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. It is time for our weekly check-in with Mike Glennon, former NC State quarterback, longtime NFL quarterback. A little bit later in the week, but I think that's appropriate because we're closer to the NFL schedule. And Bryce Young, who we talk with Mike a lot about, the inner workings of the quarterback room in the NFL. Bryce Young and the Panthers got smoked by Buffalo this past weekend, although Bryce Young wasn't playing. That was an Andy Dalton game. Pretty much everything we thought he would do, all of the veterans, protect the football, get everybody into the right play. Turns out he was checking into plays to throw interceptions, which not ideal, and they lost 40-9. But it does appear as if Bryce is going to be back this week. They got another doozy against Green Bay. I guess we'll lead with that. When you're coming back from an injury and your team just got smoked, can everyone flush it and just say, well, that was us without Bryce? Like, let's go back to what we were doing with Bryce, which was 3-0 in the three previous games.
I think they can. I mean, obviously that was a bad loss, but
that wasn't us. That was us without Bryce.
They won prior to with Bryce? Prior 3. So I think there is definitely a little bit of that. Let's forget this one. Let's move on. And I don't know if it's one of those you just burn the tape and don't even watch it and move on. But I will say I was surprised Andy Dalton some uncharacteristic, like before halftime taking a sack with no timeouts. It was like day one rookie. You're being taught not to do that. Just tough day at the office for Andy Dalton. But I think this team getting Bryce Young back, hopefully we'll be able to get back on track.
It was, and this happens in sports, right, where you say right beforehand, like, all right, all he can do is not take a sack. There he is, sacked for a loss of 11 or whatever it was. I will give Andy some credit in the interest of protecting our quarterback fraternity. He said he's not going to use it as an excuse, but he playing with a broken thumb.
Yeah,
I would likely, not publicly, but behind closed doors, I would use that as an excuse.
I don't blame him for making it public, too. He's trying to get a job next year, and people are going to be like, what was that happened on that game against Buffalo? We don't want him. Oh, he had a broken thumb. Okay. Maybe he gets a pass.
I'm giving him not a pass, but I'm giving him a lot, like tough guy points. Quarterbacks being tough recently. No different than like Carson Wentz. I'm telling everybody I'm getting surgery. But either way, that's neither here nor there. Looking at Green Bay, and looking at Bryce coming back, coming off an ankle injury, is it like it? I would feel insulted if this is how it was presented to me as a quarterback. But also, it's the NFL. Save your feelings for another day. Can you go to Bryce and just say, I don't care what you do. If you turn the ball over, like I'm fining you $10 million. Like it's the Panthers are so very obviously two different teams in that, and they're going reportedly more to Rico Dowdle this week rather than the split, which I think we all hope they got to earlier. If it's running and playing defense, just don't put us in a hole with the early turnovers and your day is done. Don't be a hero out there it's insulting because, like, you want to be the hero, but also I think that's how they have to operate.
To win the game, that's what they got to do, and he's got to understand that and not take it as an insult. Like, it's not a bad thing. You can get labeled as a game manager. That can't be a bad thing. I'd rather be labeled as a game manager than a guy that turns the ball over the time and doesn't throw a lot of touchdowns either. So when they've shown to win now against some of the 3 worst teams in the league, particularly on the defense side of the ball with the Cowboys in there, that's the way they won. Hey, let's start the game off protected. Let's be smart with the ball. Let's see how the game's going. Michael Parsons on the other side. Let's get the ball out of our hands quick. Let's just take completions. Okay, we're down by 14. Hey, we got to start playing. Take the handcuffs off a little bit and try to make some things happen. So feel the temperature of the game, but understand they got a pretty special player over there with Micah Parsons. Let's not let him wreck the game in the first quarter.
Put us in that, and I just want to pry further. We're talking with Mike Glennon, former NC State quarterback, 10-year NFL vet. Put us in that mind space. I know there's not a lot of Micah Parsons, but there's a couple Micah Parsons in the league any given year. When you're going up against one of those, you're a young quarterback. What's the week like? What's the game like? What's?
I mean, you almost go into. You have meetings with the offensive line, with offensive line coach, where you go over protections for the week. You start with first and second down, and then you get into third down. And usually it's just, okay, these are their blitz packages. This is how we're going to handle this look versus this protection, all that. When you're playing against a guy like Micah Parsons, when I think of my time, it was Aaron Donald, which was rare because it was an interior guy, but the outside guys, Von Millers, those type of people of the world, it's like every play, every protection, where's number one? And we're either going to chip him with a tight end or we're going to chip him with a running back. But at all times, we have to know where number one is. And that's where we start this week, because we are not going to let him wreck this game. That's what every coach talks about. And then guys like Micah Parsons can still find ways to wreck the game. But it's the offensive line, it's the scheme, but it goes to the quarterback too. We can't hold the ball all day. We got to get the ball out of our hands, because it is a lot to ask for our tackles, whoever, to hold up against this guy. He's a rare specimen, and we got to get the ball out of our hands quick.
All right, with a few minutes here, I want to nerd out on, and I don't even know if there's an answer for this, because like you said, Micah Parsons, Aaron Donald, there's some dudes that wreck the game anyway. But I was watching the Packers-Steelers game last week, and Aaron Rodgers didn't really solve this problem, which probably tells me that there might not be one. Anytime it was third and longer than 6, they were taking Micah Parsons off the line of scrimmage and putting him essentially where you would assume a middle backer would stand, middle linebacker, and giving him a running start to blitz anywhere, right? It wasn't like, oh, he might drop in, this might be Tampa 2 with Micah Parsons dropping to the middle third. It was very much, he's coming, he's a rusher, but that you can't check you can't slide the protection to Micah Parsons, because he's right in the middle of the field and he can run in any direction. So when everything is, you just brought it up, every protection is shaded towards Micah Parsons. When he does that, do you just pick one and hope? Is it like a soccer goalie? You dive to the right and hope that's where they kick it?
That's why Micah Parsons is so rare, is because they can line him up in so many different places and not just line him up at defensive end, kind of like Miles Garrett. You don't see him lining up at linebacker, rushing the passer. So the coaching point all week is, hey guys, we got to be great on first and second down to stay out of third and longs. If we can stay in third and manageable, then they can't, run this package as much. Where third and 7, they can move them around. They know we're passing. We don't have a choice. What I loved when coaches would also do is, say it's second and 7, we run the ball, now it's third and 5, is immediately get on the line of scrimmage, go to a hurry up offense. That way they don't have time to call in this kind of crazy pressure look, and they just have to line them up at defensive end. So I always liked when play callers would do that, is just get on the ball right away. We're not going to substitute. We're not going to give them time to call this crazy pressure package. So that's what I would do if I was Panthers.
Aaron Rodgers, his solution was basically just to get the ball out of his hands ridiculously quick, which led to a lot of 3rd and 11 6-yard completions, which obviously the Packers were fine with. Rodgers probably hoping somebody would make a play, right? Make a guy miss and go get the first. But it's not the easiest thing to deal with. And Bryce Young coming off an injury break, the offense already not cranking the way you'd want it to. I guess more Rico Dowdle on first and second.
Yep.
Make sure you're 3rd and 3, not 3rd and 7.
And then also, if for every reason Michael Parsons off the field on second down, it's like we are definitely getting on the ball. Do not give them time to run the play. And that's another thing teams will do. Like it's basically like, hey, Micah's out on this play, even his first or second down. Hey, Micah's out. Like let's take a shot right now because we gotta take our chances of holding the ball when he's out of the game.
Last question for you. Tedero McMillan's been good. And Andy Dalton, I think veteran quarterbacks just do this more, right? Throw him the ball a ton, right? For all Andy didn't do well, he did end up with whatever it was, like 11 targets, 8 catches, something like that for 99 yards. I don't know what the exact I know the yards is right. I don't know what the exact target numbers were. Can you keep a defense honest with like kind of one guy threatening? Because at some point, if I'm a defense, I'm looking at the Panthers and I'm stopping Rico Dowdle, and someone else is going to have to beat me. Can you use like kind of the one dude, Tedero McMillan, to make defenses stay honest?
I think you can, and it's for the reason you brought up, and that's Rico Dowdle in the run game. I think the Packers come into this game saying we have to stop Rico Dowdle more than we have to stop Tedero McMillan, and therefore let's load the box. Let's add an extra guy, and when you load the box, then you're going to have one-on-one with all the receivers. So it's kind of you have to pick your poison. Who do you want to stop? And if I'm the Packers, I'm taking away the run game before I'm worrying about Tedero McMillan.
His name's Mike Glennon. You can catch him on the Pack Therapy podcast with me talking NC State football. This week's episode, obviously a lot about on the field, but there's some off the field stuff going on with NC State as well. So we talked about the social element and everything else. So check it out everywhere podcasts can be found. Our YouTube on 99.9 The Fan and our at 99.9 The Fan app as well. We have the starting five coming up next. Thank you to Mike as always. 2 minutes of gold with Adam Gold coming up next as well. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and as the Carolina Hurricanes shoot for their 8th consecutive playoff appearance, that's right, 8 in a row, that's not the goal, I should remind you. The goal is being, as Rod Brindamore likes to say, the last team standing. What do they need? Who will get them there? You know where you can find the answers on every episode of the Canes Corner podcast, live on YouTube after games, and wherever you get your podcast. Rate, subscribe, like, share, tell your friends.
Hey, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan for my friends over at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. In 3 months, I've lost 40 pounds. That's right, 40 pounds in 3 months thanks to Raleigh Weight Loss Center and their program. And last week, I had a follow-up visit with them to discuss my progress. And one of the things that we discussed was not only how to maintain the weight that I've lost, but if I wanted to lose a few more pounds in a healthy, progressive way, this is the plan to follow. These are the steps that you need to take. And that's something that I appreciated about the program at Raleigh Weight Loss Center is the fact that not only is there a plan for you to lose weight, but also to maintain weight, but doing it in a healthy way and losing it at a rate that is healthy for your body. Give them a call, 919-897-7506, or visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Set up a free 15-minute phone call. That's right, a free 15-minute phone call. Figure out if the program is right for you. I'm living, breathing, walking proof that it can work. 919-897-7506 or RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Results may vary.
Genie log, day 15,824. The Mega Millions jackpot is over $750 million now. I'll be stuck in this little lamp forever with nothing but all this stupid gold and rare gems. A gold-plated motorcycle? Sure does a lot of good when you live in a 10x10 magic lamp. Come find me. I'm at latitude 36.06.
Grant your own wishes. The Mega Millions jackpot is over $750 million. Must be 18 to play. Approximate jackpot odds are 1 in 291 million. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
YouTube TV customers get the sports you love on ESPN back, including college football, college game day, Monday Night Football, NBA, college basketball, and more. Act now. Go to keepmynetworks.com to get ESPN back.
It's bow time. Fumbling the food on game day? Rookie move.
But you know Bo can make your tailgate a winner, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Because the Carolina Legend has everything you're craving. We're talking crispy, juicy chicken loaded with real Southern flavor, fluffy, scratch-made buttermilk biscuits, and all the fixins to feed your whole crew faster than you can say touchdown. Be the MVP this season and let Bojangles do the cooking. Order your tailgate today. It's Bo time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's Bo time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's Bo time.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Amy Wilmot. Temperatures look pretty comfortable for trick-or-treating tonight. It's dry with temperatures in the 50s. And then overnight tonight, it is chilly. We have a frost advisory in place with a low temperature of 38. Saturday afternoon looks good, mostly sunny with a high of 65.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones today up 40 points to 47,562.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is Halloween. It is 5 o'clock. Might be some trick-or-treaters out there.
Yeah, be safe out there.
There you go. There you go. If you're listening to this in your car, just eyes peeled, right? It is one of the few days where you tell a kid, yeah, dress in like all black, maybe even in a hood, right? Because that's the costume, and then go running full speed from house to house. Like that's kind of the exact opposite of what we tell children most days. So just keep your head on a swivel, I guess would be the way to describe it.
Yeah, carry the flashlight. It's all good. It's all right.
Or if you're like me, right, on the fire truck you built your son for Marshall from Paw Patrol.
There you go.
There are working headlights.
Nice.
Yeah, you can click those bad boys on, and then you're good.
Are they street legal?
I mean, you got to pull it in a wagon, so I don't know if it has a horsepower.
They have turn signals on those things.
We got red lights on the back. We got like LED looking lights on the front, and just saying, safety.
It's well done.
Thank you. We take Halloween seriously. They should be actually trick or treating pretty soon. So if you see one out there, if you see Marshall out there, that's my boy. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's just a little PSA there. That had nothing to do with what we're going to talk about now, because it's time for the starting five.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Andrei Svechnikov flying through and he scores! He never broke stride. Oh, that is the magic. Andrei Svechnikov, his second goal of the season. He scored in 2 straight. And Mr. Svechnikov might be back in the neighborhood.
Canes, they won last night, 6-2. We have some updates on some injuries and things, which we will get to you. But first, our very own Adam Gold from 99.9 The Fan with his reactions to last night's Canes win over the Islanders in what we call 2 minutes of gold.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I've got 2 minutes for a first, a second, and another second, and 2 points from last night's 6-2 win over the Islanders, and it's all brought to us by Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Visit parkwaysleep.com. So the first, you never forget your first. In the first, the kid gets it done.
Jankowski will get to it along the left wing. Now to be given away to shot. He scores! Bradley Nadeau, his first NHL goal. He wrists it past Riddick, and it's 1-0 Carolina.
Congratulations to Bradley Nadeau. As for the second, it came in the third, and it was Andre again.
Andrei Svechnikov flying through, and he scores! He never broke stride. Oh, that is the magic. Andrei Svechnikov, his second goal of the season. He scored in 2 straight, and Mr. Svechnikov might be back in the neighborhood.
Glory be. We might have seen the awakening of Andrei Svechnikov, and it comes at a great time, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But as for the other second, the second in goal, Brandon Bussey, doing it again, now 3-1 as a Hurricane.
Bussey explodes to make the save on Heineman. Bussey makes the save and hangs on. Now the Islanders get one out in front. Bussey makes the save. Oh, dear, Bussey, it was Kyle Palmieri all alone in front, and Bussey having none of it. He took his candy.
Carolina, you could argue, really won the game in the first period. Bussey was at his best. He needed to be at his best because the Islanders had 7 grade A scoring chances, and Bussey turned aside all of those. The only goal was from distance, and it came through a screen. Brandon was excellent last night. He does need some help with a poke check. He can talk to Carolina's third goalie, Pyotr Kochetkov, about that. The only downside to last night's 6-2 win, Seth Jarvis leaving the game late with an injury. Hopefully, it won't be too bad, but I think we're all fearing the worst there. Hurricanes, 6. Islanders, 2. Parkway Sleep Health Center. Sound sleep, sound health, sound off for a massive bus. We love a bus.
That is 2 minutes of gold with Adam Gold. Thank you very much to Adam. The Canes, right, in that super fast treadmill of an NHL season, they play again tomorrow, 1 o'clock puck drop at Boston. Talk about how quickly things change in the NHL. Right after the game yesterday, you would have thought they were preparing to go into this game Seth Jarvis-less. Right? How are they going to deal with it? Do they need to call somebody up? What is the top line going to look like? I still think they need to be prepared for all of that. But maybe for not as long as you'd think, and maybe for not at all, right? Seth Jarvis, according to Rod Brindamore earlier today after their morning skate, despite taking a puck to the ankle, he might not miss any time. Here's Rod.
Yeah, I think he'll be all right. I think that we dodged the bullet there. I'm not sure his availability for tomorrow. I think he should be able to go, but still not 100%.
Hey, we'll take that. Based on how fearful it felt to perhaps go any amount of time without Seth Jarvis after dealing with the injuries you're already dealing with. Even if he misses a game or two, I still think that's a win based on where we were. Other bits of injury news, Pyotr Kochetkov taken off IR, but that means Keandre Miller put on IR. IR, I want to emphasize this. I think the NFL has made people terrified of just the 2 letters IR, because in the NFL, IR is you're not playing for 4 weeks minimum. Like you're ineligible to play for 4 weeks minimum. In the NHL, it's much easier to take a player off IR and play them the next day.
Yeah, it's 7 days that you have to be on injured reserve, but it's retroactive to when you got hurt. So Keandre Miller, retroactive until, October 20th or 23rd, whatever it was. So literally at any moment, they can bring him off. It's literally done. It's a paper move just to free up a roster spot. That's literally all it is.
Which I do think they're going to have to do some creative paper moves for roster spots to protect somebody like Brandon Bussey, who every time he goes out there and plays effectively in goal like he did last night, it becomes even more important to protect him, right? So I think you're going to see there'll be a lot of those announcements that seem harrowing and they end up not really being that scary.
I also wonder this as well, is that I think in order to potentially to send Kochetkov down for a conditioning stint just to get some games in Chicago, you have to take him off IR. I think that's how it works. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I would not be surprised if you see Kochetkov get sent down to Chicago for a conditioning stint, basically just to get a couple games in, get some live shots in before you actually step onto the ice for an NHL game.
Can I take a minute here to rant for a second?
Sure.
Okay, with Carolina Hurricanes dealing with a bunch of injuries. The Carolina Panthers dealing with a bunch of injuries, as most contact sport teams do, although more for others than others. Can I propose a professional sports summit, North American professional sports summit, where you get the NHL, the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, MLS, whoever else wants to come, NWSL, right? Everybody, WNBA. Get all of the committees together and come up with one salary cap system and one IR system that every sport uses. So what you just said, right? Like, I think what you have to do if you want to send them down for a spot start, I want to know the rules on that and have it be true if a pitcher wants to get a AAA start and if a goalie wants to get an AHL start. And, like, I want all of it to be the same. I don't want it to be, well, the Dodgers spent $900 trillion, and all that means is they're going to pay a little bit of extra second apron money. Meanwhile, in the NHL, it's like, if you are $1 over, everything goes to problems. Like, I want it all uniform. Because I follow sports as much as anybody I know. And I have no clue how so many of the salary caps or the rosters and everything else are managed. And it's kind of my job to know. So I know the casual fans are lost. End of rant. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Out of the backfield, this is Randall again. A good runner after the catch. Tiptoes down the sideline. Touchdown! He stayed in bounds for the score.
UNC tonight at Syracuse. It's Halloween, spooky season.
Things can get weird.
Maybe things can get weird. You're playing a team, might see a couple of quarterbacks from Syracuse, right? They're, for lack of a better term, throwing stuff at a wall and hoping something sticks. They've not been playing well. Maybe UNC can force some kind of a turnover, maybe score a couple points on defense, help the offense out a little bit, take a little bit of the pressure off Gio Lopez. Maybe Benjamin Hall can get going, or Damon June, or whoever is going to be running the football for UNC. Over the last month, okay, we'll do a month, these two teams have moved in very different directions. And because of that, I think this game went from you're penciling it in as a loss for UNC to you might be circling it as the biggest potential win for a Power 5 team remaining. I mean, Stanford also, but Syracuse has not been looking good. So if you want to get a post-game Bill Belichick winning press conference, which sounds a lot like a losing press conference, this might be one of your best chances tonight. 7:30 up there in the Dome in upstate New York. Crazier things have happened on a Halloween night. What are the chances Bill Belichick dresses up? He did dress as a pirate that one time at the roller rink for the Patriots.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe. Or he dressed as the fisherman with Jordan Hudson last year.
Yeah, there's that, I
guess. Does he break out the fisherman outfit for pregame? Huh? That's number 4. Let's get to number 3.
In zone for Brown on the left. He's got it! Touchdown! Quayshawn Brown, full extension! And the Blue Devils are an extra point away from tying it.
Duke football at Clemson tomorrow, noon. Clemson isn't what we thought they were preseason. Duke, I think, still could potentially be what we thought they were preseason, but with the added caveat that they have to beat Clemson this week. Dennis, I'm on the fence here, so you can be the tiebreaker vote. Is this must win for Duke? And you know how I feel about must win. I don't like throwing them around all willy-nilly. I don't want every game to be a must win.
Yeah, if they want to achieve everything that they can still achieve, you have to win this game. Yes, absolutely must win. You can't drop a second ACC game and expect to get to the ACC championship game.
Because here's the fact of the matter.
So yeah, must win.
Like, Dennis didn't bring up the ACC championship because it's a pipe dream. It's still right there for Duke to go chase. Right now, they have one loss. However, there are two undefeated teams, Georgia Tech and Virginia. They still play Virginia, right? Virginia, by the way, for those of you going, wait, Virginia is undefeated in ACC conference play. They are not undefeated against ACC teams, which is a weird and stupid distinction I have to make. But they lost to NC State in what was considered a non-conference game. So Virginia is still undefeated when it comes to making the ACC championship game. But Duke plays Virginia later on in the year in mid-November. So they still control their destiny, I believe, in a lot of ways. If they win out in the ACC, there's a nearly, I don't know if it's 100% guarantee. You can get into weird tiebreakers and stuff. But you win out, there's a very, very good chance you make the ACC championship. Obviously, you win the ACC championship, you're in the college football playoff. So ipso facto, right, like transitive property, this connects to that. Duke is still in the running for a national championship, but you got to beat Clemson this weekend. You lost to Georgia Tech before the bye. You've played one game since October 4th. Like, there's a lot of reasons why you might come out flat, but you can't. There's a lot of reasons why you might overlook or underrate Clemson, but you can't. This is a game you got to give your best foot forward.
I think the last time Duke won at Clemson was before I was born. I was born in 86. Do the math. I think it was literally 1980, I think.
And it's not like Clemson joined the ACC when USC joined the Big Ten. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like they've been in the same conference for some time now. Duke at Clemson, to me, is underrated. Like, wildly important game. Wildly important. And Clemson's already lost 3 in conference. So, for once, it's kind of like you should take care of this. They still have some talent. They still have some game records. But you should take care of this. And I'll give you one more piece about Duke, and this has been one of my themes for Duke this year. They have to convert their production into points. Clemson is not a team you can let hang around when you're outgaining them, 200 to 50 halfway through the second quarter, 200 yards to 50 total yards, but the score is 6-0. Right? If you're dominating a game, you have to put distance between them, which has been a problem for Duke. Duke has, just look at passing yards. Darian Mensah is number 1 in the country in passing yards per game amongst players that have played at least 4 or 5 games. Number 1 in the country in passing yards per game, yet the offense, hasn't scored the way it should in their biggest games. So, convert that to points, and I think you'll have a good shot. Take care of business against UConn. Then you have a huge game in the ACC against Virginia that next week. We can look ahead. You probably shouldn't. That's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us. It's Smothers now runs up into a tackle, bounces off of it, sprints over the 40. Watch out, breaks free 30, pulls away 20, and he's gone. Hollywood Smothers inside the 10, and it is a 59-yard Hollywood Smothers rip on his 3rd touch of the ball game.
There weren't a ton of highlights for Hollywood Smothers specifically, but for State after that play against Pitt.
By the way, he's questionable. He and Justin Jolie are questionable for tomorrow's game against Georgia Tech.
And a couple of safeties. What is it? J.J. Johnson and Ronnie Royal are both questionable.
Something along those lines, yeah.
Out. They have an offensive lineman, Spike, the big man up front, the freshman. Some guys that have been out for a while, Sean Brown on the defense, out. Depending on whether Smothers and Jolie play or not, and then if they play, depending on if they're 80% or 95% of their normal selves. That completely changes the game for NC State this weekend, playing against Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech comes in top 10 in the country, undefeated, finding a way to win. Let's hear from Dave Doran on why he thinks this year's version of Georgia Tech is so difficult to play against.
A team that mirrors their head coach's personality, an offensive line coach that loves physicality. That's what all O-line coaches are built on. I love the way they play. It's definitely a game where you got to show up physical. Blocking, tackling, the 2 biggest parts of this sport still. It's going to be a battle. It is. And there's a lot of rules that are tested when you play their team. I think they do a great job of testing the rules of your schemes. whether it's the edges and how you're going to play them, whether it's your coverage checks, and you're going to see a lot of formations, which you do in college football anyway. But with them, you'll see multiple motions and shifts on the same play. And so just trying to create angles and leverage and missed gaps by guys not using the system correctly on defense. And so it's a physical test for sure, but they do a good job testing you mentally as well with their offensive system.
That answer about Georgia Tech does make me wonder whether Dave Doran was attempting to, at least, do some coaching through the media earlier this week, where he talked about the secondary doing things right in practice and then in games it not being done, and they have to do what they're coached, and I forget the exact wording, but that was the gist. If he's looking ahead to Georgia Tech and he knows Georgia Tech is a team that is, what do you say, testing your rules or testing your scheme, you better be about your assignments, right? You can't get your eyes wandering into the backfield on a play action. You can't get yourself out of position. So maybe he was trying to make that urgency felt by saying, almost calling out his secondary for their scheme decisions earlier this week. Perhaps. I think the physical challenge against Georgia Tech is the one you really should focus on. They are not sucker punchers, if that makes any sense. They're not trying to hit you when you're not looking, right? They are looking you in the face and saying, "Do you want to fight? Okay, let's fight." And then they start, right? They want to meet you in the alley. They're not hiding from you. So if your defense shows up not ready to play, they'll get blown off the line of scrimmage, pushed back, and Haynes King will 6-yard carry you to death. So I look at the physical side of things a bit more than the schematic.
Also, I feel like with Georgia Tech sometimes that their games might be a little bit close. Fourth quarter might be like a 17-13 or something like that. But then because they've worn you down so much, then all of a sudden here's Haynes King popping off a 25-yard run. And you're like, great.
That's
now
more,
you're chasing.
That's more logical. Or do you think it's – because I've also heard this said about Georgia Tech. They know how to win, right? If it's close in the fourth quarter, that's where their charisma comes into play or whatever, right? That's where their moxie becomes the difference. State, I think, has kind of been the opposite, right? They might keep it close till half, but then the opposing team finds a few things that work and it goes against them. If State can find some of that just confidence, right, that right now Georgia Tech has in spades. Right now Georgia Tech feels like if it's a one-score game in the second half, they're going to win and they're going to worship at the altar of Haynes King in those situations. If State finds that kind of confidence, if they can talk themselves into it, I think that could be a big difference. That is tomorrow night, 7:30. Let's get to number one.
Go one! Fake to Dowdle. Young backpedaling. Flush to his left. Throws downfield. Dowdle wide open. 10-5. Touchdown, Rico Dowdle. Buckle up.
This is going to be one of the more difficult questions that we have to answer, Dennis, but I'm putting us both on the spot. Not asking you to do anything I wouldn't do myself. The Panthers are playing at Green Bay. Green Bay, I'll put all my predictions on Front Street. I picked them to win the NFC this year. I am a believer.
As did I.
I'm a believer in what they are building. I like LaFleur as a coach. I think the Micah Parsons move put him over the top as far as the conference. And that's been since before I knew that the Panthers would be 4-4 coming into this game. That's before that I knew Bryce Young would be playing. Like, that's from preseason. If blank happens, then the Panthers will pull off the upset, which I imagine on all the pregame shows when they make their predictions and they have the graphic with everybody's name and the logo of who they picked underneath, there's going to be quite a bit of green on that screen, right? Not many people are going to have the Panthers pulling off the upset. So let's hit the if-then. And I already know what I'm saying. If Rico Dowdle goes for over 100 yards on the ground, and I would say 2 rushing touchdowns, not from him, 2 rushing touchdowns from the team. So it's an and. If Rico Dowdle gets 100 yards on the ground and they score 2 rushing touchdowns, then I think it's at least significantly more likely that they're able to pull off the upset.
You and I are along the same wavelengths. When you started with the question, I said 150 total yards and a touchdown from Rico Dowdle.
It's
again total yards. Again, that's going to be receiving as well. But again, 150 plus total yards from Rico and a touchdown from him. Then I'd say they're in it.
I think the reason why I went with that is You have to keep that offense off the field, right? You don't want Jordan Love. I think he's putting some things together. He was really good last week, but he's streaky. He is one of those guys. Actually, what did he do last week? He broke the record, the Packers record for most consecutive completions in a game.
It's like 21 or something like
that.
that. 22.
Which I don't know if you've heard. The Packers have had some good ones. He broke the record. So what I don't want to have happen is give him 2 or 3 drives without the Panthers holding the ball long and let him get into a rhythm, because then you're asking your defense to do more than they should have to do because they have their hands full with, the running game and they're I don't know if they have a number 1 wide receiver, but they got like 8 wide receiver 2s that are pretty good.
Tucker Kraft might be their number 1 wide receiver.
That's actually a fantastic point.
The Panthers struggle against tight ends.
Fantastic point. So I think the reason why you need a healthy running game is if Rico Dowdle's getting 100+, I think Chuba Hubbard's tacking on 40 at least. That's a lot of time that can tick off the clock. That's a lot of time where Jordan Love's not getting into a rhythm, and a lot of pressure taken off of Bryce Young. And those are the 2 things I want to do the most. I want to take the Packers offense off the field for long stretches, and I want to take pressure off of whoever's playing quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. If you do those 2 things, you got a shot. With that being said, there's also Micah Parsons. There's also Rashawn Gary. There's also Nixon in the defensive backfield. They've got some defensive players that'll make everything we just said difficult. Everything. So you can't allow Micah Parsons to change a game in 1 play. Right? A strip sack, a fumble recovery, a scoop and score, like whatever that ends up being, it can completely change the game. And I don't think the Panthers, unless they're playing the Dolphins, are built to mount massive comebacks. They kind of have to stay in it arm's distance at least. So, easier said than done, right? I'm sitting here. I understand the ridiculousness of don't let Micah Parsons beat you. It's like, yeah, okay. And next you're going to tell me not to get dunked on by Shaq? Like, I hadn't thought of that. Like, of course, that's the goal. But, if he gets 2 or 3 plays that change the game, I think the Panthers may be donezo. Any injury news? We haven't updated this enough because we've been so busy in updating injury news from the Carolina Hurricanes. Princely Uman-Mielen not expected to play in this one.
He's officially out.
Cade Mays, same thing.
Officially out.
Who'd been playing pretty well at the center spot. Others, who's in, who's out? Taylor Moton is practicing again.
Taylor Moton was limited today. He's listed as questionable to play on Sunday. Damian Lewis was a full participant in practice. Even though he's listed as questionable, I think he should be good to go. Same thing along the lines with Nick Scott. Nick Scott did not practice Wednesday, limited yesterday, full participant today. He's officially listed as questionable, but should also be good to go. Another one to keep an eye on is Trevin Wallace, the linebacker. He had that shoulder injury that they assessed him for a concussion. He cleared concussion protocol on Sunday, but he had a stinger in his shoulder. So didn't practice Wednesday, limited yesterday, limited today as well. Officially listed as questionable. Now, he's been their green dot, so their defensive play caller, which we've seen him take over that role over the last about 3 or 4 weeks or so. And we've seen him and Roseboom play a little bit better during that time.
And the defense as a whole play better.
Yes. And I think as well as that if he's out there isn't much depth in that inside linebacking core. So that would be a big-time loss if Trevin Wallace can't play. Also, keep an eye on former NC State guard Chandler Zavala, who had his 21-day window opened on Wednesday. He was a full participant in all 3 days in practice. And also Brady Christensen's not playing. He had the Achilles injury. You need someone to start at right guard. It very well could be Chandler Zavala.
Bit of a mash unit up there on the offensive line.
Yeah.
The good news is they've shuffled around a few times and have had some of their best days with what very much would not have been their opening day starting lineup. So
Rico Dowdle's big game against Dallas, Josh Nyman started at right tackle.
There were 3 of the 5 replacements.
Yeah.
So granted, some of them have since been deemed the starter, but now they're hurt. So it's a rotating cast of characters up there. You better be able to run the ball, though. I'll tell you that much. You better be able to run the ball against Green Bay. The Drive, Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have tickets to Bryan Adams at the Lenovo Center on November 5th to give away to the winner of the numbers game. So we need a couple of contestants. Call in now, 919-860-5326 if you want to play the numbers game. 919-860-5326 for your chance to compete in the numbers game and potentially win those Bryan Adams tickets. Stick around, numbers game next.
Having Canty and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Man, it started off rough for Dan Campbell. He was able to right the ship. One day, started out 0-10-1. Everybody was going back to the introductory press conference, talking about how awkward it was, being a kneecap biter and all of that stuff. Now everybody loves that stuff. Just give it time to fully bake when it comes to Aaron Glenn. He can't go winless, but I think Aaron Glenn finds a way to keep his job going into 2026.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
This is John Wall. The Salvation Army does so much for people right here in Wake County. Join me and 999 The Fan and showing them some love and support. For me, the Salvation Army is always dope. It gives opportunity for anybody, any situation to get support. I really got into it because my mom, before she passed, she was always doing so much she could to help the Salvation Army, cooking for them, doing anything to give back to them. So we always want to honor her and keep that going with my John Wall Family Foundation. The need in Wake County is real, and the Salvation Army is meeting it with real solutions.
Text GIVE to 919-860-5326 or go to teamuptogive.com to donate.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
YouTube TV customers get the sports you love on ESPN back, including college football, college game day, Monday Night Football, NBA, college basketball, and more. Act now. Go to keepmynetworks.com to get ESPN back.
Progressive knows road trips without your pet can be tough.
Hi, this is Next Stop Dog Boarding.
Hi, it's Scott again. How's Squeaks doing? You can tell if he's stressed by his eyebrows. Oh, and his breathing should sound like this.
Scott, Squeaks is exactly the same as last time you called.
Okay, let's talk in 20 to see if anything's changed.
With Progressive, your pet is covered up to $1,000 in vet bills in case of a car accident. So next time, you can take your pet with you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. Our contestants for today, Hudson in Coates and Chad in Knightdale. They'll be battling it out for Bryan Adams tickets coming to the Lenovo Center in early November. As always, we'll bring each of them onto the show individually, ask them the same question. Dennis will get to decide which answer is his favorite, and that person will get to go first. We'll start with Hudson and Coates. Hudson, are you there?
Yes.
All right, Hudson, I like it. Happy Halloween to you. We'll ask this question. Well, you know what? It's Halloween. We'll go back to a classic. What's the best Halloween candy? And I'm going to press you. Give us your top three. What are the three best Halloween candies?
Skittles, peanut M&Ms, and Hershey.
Skittles, peanut M&Ms, and Hershey. All right. Dennis, any follow-ups?
No questions.
No questions. All right. We move to Chad in Knightdale. Chad, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. We're rolling with the same classic Halloween question. Give us the top three Halloween candies.
Snickers, Kit Kats, and Reese Cups.
Snickers, Kit Kat, and Reese Cups. All right. You are locked in as well. We'll let Dennis make a decision and see who goes first.
I mean, all classic choices here. So we had Snickers, Kit Kat, Reese's Cup.
That was Chad and Knightdale.
That was just Chad. And then Hudson went with Skittles, peanut M&Ms, and Hershey.
Correct.
Hershey's just classic, just solid chocolate. This is actually difficult. Because here's the thing with like a Skittles, like it's easy. Like you can tear open the pack, just dump the little pack in your mouth because it's just boom, you keep it moving, right?
Yep.
Going from one house to the next. Same thing with an M&Ms or a peanut M&Ms.
So you're looking for some versatility here.
There is that. But I love Reese's.
Snickers, Kit Kat, and Reese's are all very they're similar roles. You're opening them up, you're taking a bite, you're taking your time.
Yeah.
The peanut M&Ms and the Skittles, they bring a little bit of versatility.
Here's the thing. I'm not a peanut M&Ms fan, and I'm not a Snickers fan. So I've
There's
got
one
on
of
each side
yeah.
that I'm not really a big fan of. So it really comes down to the other two. And Reese's and Kit Kats are two of my top three.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go Chad on this one, but both fantastic answers. And by the way, I appreciate the fact that Hudson said Hershey's, or just a solid Hershey's bar, is very underrated.
You know what? At least you guys know if Hudson wasn't chosen. The thought was put into it, and you were given a good chance. Hudson, stay on the line. You'll have your chance. Just have to sit on hold. That'll mean Chad and Nightdale gets to go first. So, Chad, are you there and ready to pick a category?
Yes, sir.
All right. We have NFL players with late October birthdays. We have NFL players that were Ryan Fitzpatrick's teammates at some point or another. We have NBA players from Europe or NHL Hurricanes throughout history.
I'll take NFL Ryan Fitzpatrick.
All right.
Teammates.
Yep. All players that at one point or another were teammates with Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No, sir.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Terry McLaurin, Washington football team.
17.
Correct. Devontae Parker, Miami Dolphins.
23.
Incorrect. Cameron Brate, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Pass.
Fred Jackson, Buffalo Bills.
16.
Incorrect. Devontae Parker, Miami Dolphins.
81.
Incorrect. Cameron Brate, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
81.
Incorrect. Fred Jackson, Buffalo Bills.
35.
Incorrect. Devontae Parker, Miami Dolphins.
82.
Incorrect. You did get Terry. You got Scary Terry,
rough.
which is appropriate for Halloween to get Scary Terry. He's number 17. Devontae Parker, 11 with the Dolphins. Cameron Brate, 84 is what we were looking for. Fred Jackson, I mean, Fred Jackson feels like he was a long time ago, but I guess Fitz played a while. 22 is what we were looking for Fred Jackson. You got one. You avoided the shutout. We'll see if it's enough. Stay on the line, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. That brings us to Hudson and Coates. Hudson, are you there?
Yes.
All right, perfect. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL late October birthdays, NBA European players, or NHL Hurricanes throughout history.
Let me go with the NFL late October birthdays.
All right, Hudson, I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. You need at least two for the win. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Marcus Mariota, Washington Commanders.
1.
Incorrect. Tank Dell, Houston Texans.
Pass.
John Casey, Carolina Panthers.
4.
Correct. Andy Dalton, Carolina Panthers.
14.
Correct. Mark Carrier, Carolina Panthers.
17.
Incorrect. Marcus Mariota, Washington Commanders.
18.
Correct. Tank Dell, Houston Texans. That was a hard-fought 3. Good job on you, Hudson. You win. You get the Bryan Adams tickets and the glory that comes with being a numbers game winner. Congrats.
Thank you.
For those, stay on the line. Dennis has some info he needs to grab to make sure you get your prize, but congrats once again. For those of you playing at home, Mariota with the Commanders has worn both 8 and 18. We would have accepted either. Tank Dell, injured right now, but with the Texans, he wears number 3. You heard John Casey, 4. You heard Andy Dalton, 14. Mark Carrier, 83 with the Panthers. It is, after saying Will Carrier so many times, I did definitely say Carrier.
Oh, it threw me off, too.
I was like, oh, wait, that's not it. Carrier, obviously, plays with the Carolina Hurricanes right now, injured. But 83 is the number we were looking for there. And I gave all the answers there. I think I got them all right. I was told one time last week I didn't go back and give the answer for those of you playing at home. So if I didn't, I apologize. I try to always do it. But that would ruin me if I were driving and playing the numbers game and I thought I had one right and the host never told me, like, no, we were looking for 83. I would have to Google it and make it a whole thing. So I apologize if I did that. But I do my best not to. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We haven't talked about this enough today, so we're going to take a couple minutes here. Dodgers, Blue Jays, 8 p.m. tonight, Game 6, World Series. Yamamoto on the mound for the Dodgers. Kevin Gausman on the mound for the Blue Jays. A one-time top prospect in the Orioles system.
Yeah.
He used to pitch for the Delmarva Shorebirds in the minors, for those of you that have ever been to the shore of Maryland. Either way, it is probably the only game all year where I'll be wholeheartly rooting for the Dodgers. Because
you want a Game 7?
Because I want a Game 7.
Hey, that's fair. I respect that.
I want a Game 7.
I respect that.
This has been a super fun baseball series.
By the way, Yamamoto went a complete game back in Game 2.
Which is part of the lore, right? It's part of what's going on here. I also like to see a team like the Dodgers, which spends so much money, has so many stars, be in a truly we'll worry about tomorrow situation, right? It doesn't should we save somebody for Game 7? No, go out there if you need them, smoke them if you got them type situation. And the Blue Jays have to decide whether to match that energy or play it a bit more conservatively, because they've obviously guaranteed themselves one more, but you don't want to use it if you don't have to, right? Nobody wants to go to Game 7 when you're up 3-2. So it is a fascinating matchup of baseball strategy in this one.
By the way, something to keep in mind, I can't remember if I mentioned this before the series started. I want to say it's happened 4 or 5 times. I think it's 4, where in the league championship series, one team got a sweep and the other team went 7. Every single time that's happened, the team that had to go 7 games won the World Series.
You know what that tells me? I think we need to cut down the distance between Game 7 and Game 1. Because it should be an advantage if you sweep the team. But if you go 7 and then you get enough time for your bullpen to get rested up and everybody to get back in the swing, then it's probably an advantage to have gone 7 rather than 4, because you don't have, baseball players aren't used to 6 days off.
No, they're barely used to 2 days off.
Exactly. So maybe some changes need to happen there. But with that being said, I'm still rooting for the Blue Jays, just because the Blue Jays, I was going to say I don't like the super gigantic payrolls, but it's not like the Blue Jays are the Minnesota Twins out there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know where they are in payroll.
I think they're up there. I can check real quick, but I don't think they're the little engine that could by any stretch of the imagination. But compared to the Dodgers, they probably are, because the Dodgers make everybody look like the little engine that could. Toronto is 7th.
Yes. Actually, I see them as 5th on opening day.
Okay, I have active 26
there's trades and all that
yeah.
kind of stuff, yeah.
But they're $100 million behind the Dodgers. How ridiculous is that?
There's that.
The difference between number 1 and number 7 payrolls in Major League Baseball is $100 million. That's essentially an entire NHL cap between number 1 and number 7 in Major League Baseball. It's insane. Either way, Game 6 tonight, and I'm hoping for a Game 7.
You can listen to that over on Buzz Sports Radio, by the way.
Check it out. Speaking of this weekend, maybe that game will be involved. We're going to have to make some picks when we come back, send you off into the weekend the correct way. So stick around. Our picks for the entire weekend coming up next.
Move your sports day forward.
Sports and politics colliding again. Louisiana's governor wants in on the next LSU football coach hire. Imagine if North Carolina's governors, senators, or representatives wanted in on the next basketball coach hire here. Well, you have to play by the same rules then. No tax cuts year 1, you're out of there. No impeachment, you're just gone.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm glad you agreed to this date, Mr. First Tuesday.
Oh, me too, but I have to admit something. I've never been on a first date.
But you are a date, and first is in your name.
Yeah, I guess I've just been married to my work, Spreading the news about new scratch-offs coming out every first Tuesday.
New scratch-offs release every first Tuesday?
Wait, you don't know about new scratch-off tickets that come out Okay. Well, okay. You got me.
Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. A lot of people have work to do on their homes. They need a roof. They want windows, siding. You guys do everything. But people are also, I'm not sure I can afford it. The Aluminum Company is a great place to go. Tell us why.
Well, tons of times I'll go out to people's houses and they're thinking about doing a bunch of home improvements at once. Siding, roofing, windows are a big package, right? And the first thing they think of is, well, I'm going to need to go get an equity line or a second mortgage. One of the things we have is tons of financing options where you don't even need to go to your bank. We can do that in-house for you and run payment options for you. And lots of times the financing that we offer is a better percentage rating than you can get from your bank, and you don't have to go through all that mess to get to it.
I like that. Also, is there 12 months, 0 interest?
12 months, 0 interest, 0 payments for 12 months.
0 payments and 0 interest at the same time for 12 months.
That is correct.
That is a double header right there. Aluminum Company of North Carolina, online, aluminumcompany.com.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here from my friends at Buffalo Brothers. During hockey season, I'm bouncing from coast to coast like a puck on ice. But when I'm back in town, I always head to Buffalo Brothers for the best wings on the planet. And check this out. Now they have a new flavor, Chili Lime. You can't beat the great specials at all 5 Triangle locations, like half-price pizzas, Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6. You can dine in or carry out. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. So as part of our making picks here, which we're going to get into, and we're going to do the traditional way where Dennis sets up games and we talk it out, we make our picks. Tomorrow morning I will be sending out the tweet asking for first goal scorer predictions for the Carolina Hurricanes. 1 o'clock puck drop, so you got to get there early and you got to make your predictions, right? Can't wait around until the afternoon like you have been. But to lock in, as I often do, just have a receipt, right, recorded on wax for the 99.9 The Fan personality pickers, right? The hosts and producers that we've been keeping track of. Paul Ihander has the rookie, Jackson Blake in the first.
He's not a rookie anymore. He's a seasoned vet.
The rookie plus 9 games.
Hey, compared to the rest of this roster, he is a seasoned vet.
Fantastic point. He has a game that screams veteran, a beard and mustache that screams rookie.
There's that.
But either way, Paul Ihander, Blake in the first, has it on pass and gather, right? Not kind of a nice smooth play there. Max Gorn, who produces, next up with Paul Ihander. Svetch in the first on the power play.
Oh, and he'll be happy.
And he'll be happy. Although 3 games in a row for Svetch, then it's like, all right, you've officially made up for all of our angst. Adam Gold, host of the Adam Gold Show, has Sean Walker, your guy, Dennis.
Big Sean Walker guy.
One with him in the second. Said it's a 2-on-1 after a neutral zone steal. The 2-on-1, he is joined by Jankowski.
Okay, all right.
Victoria has gone Stankoven in the first from the right in front of the net in the offensive zone.
That line's been playing really well.
It has.
They looked really good yesterday.
I was worried about how it might get broken up if Jarvis was out for a long time, but now that it seems like even if Jarvis misses a game, I think you keep that line pretty much intact. Dennis, give us your prediction.
I'm going to go with the captain, Jordan Stahl. Jordan Stahl bangs in a rebound. Jordan Martinook behind the net tries a little wraparound. Puck's loose right there in the crease. Jordan Stahl's right there to clean it up.
Just for official purposes, you have to say period.
Oh, first period. My apologies.
I'm gonna get this thing right one of these days. Nikolai Ehlers, baby.
Let's go.
Nikolai Ehlers in the first on a feed from Seth Jarvis, who is gritting it out playing, but maybe doesn't have the same explosion that he normally has. So he sets up Ehlers, who has a ton of speed, and Ehlers scores. That's what I'm looking for. First goal of the game, Ehlers, first period. Also, just to explain that one a bit more, it does seem like we've probably like 5 games ago, we had a list of players we wanted to see score goals. And, like, everyone has done it except for Ehlers. Mm-hmm. All the way down to, like, all right, Nadeau's there. I'd like to see him get his first. He gets his first. Svetch, all right, he gets a couple. There's all of these all the way on down. Martinook probably is due for one. He gets a couple. Like, there's a lot of guys that have scored goals that we were kind of hoping for. I think Ehlers is the one left. You know what I mean? Now, you score, and then everything else will be gravy. That's what I'm looking for. Ehlers in the first. All right, now let's get into the more traditional picks we have to make. And if you have first goal scorer predictions, like I said, I'll put out the tweet asking for it tomorrow morning. at Donnelly Sports on Twitter. Find it there. Give us your predictions. Dennis, what are we picking?
Let's actually go to that hockey game tomorrow. 1 o'clock puck drop. Let's go and start right there on the road at the Boston Bruins. 1 o'clock puck drop.
All right, so the 6-2
matinee action.
6-2 last night. I think that's not how this one plays out.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is ugly. I think this is 3 yards in a cloud of dust. I think it's a 3-2 win for the Canes, and I think all three are just greasy, grimy, gritty rebounds. Like you take like 4 or 5 hacks at it, and it trickles across the line. I think it is a gross game, but there's no such thing as a gross win, so it's a beautiful win for the Carolina Hurricanes. 3-2.
3-2? All right. Carolina is favored in that one on the money line, by the way.
On the road.
Yep, -185. I don't know who's going to be in net. I don't know if it's going to be Jeremy Swayman or not, but the Bruins are 6-7 this year. They're 5-3 at home, but 6-7. Canes 4-2 on the road, though. And they actually get to play a game on the East Coast.
Yeah. They had one road trip.
I know, exactly.
They were 4-2 on the road trip.
I just want normalcy. That's all I want. I just want some normalcy with games. Another game, actually, tonight, college football. Let's go ahead and shift our focus there. The Tar Heels, UNC, on the road at Syracuse. Tar Heels 2-5, 0-3 in the ACC. Syracuse 3-5, 1-4 in the Atlantic Coast Conference. By the way, Syracuse favored at home by 1.5.
I mean, I'm treating this as a pick'em. I think these are
Basically.
2 teams that are reeling, but I believe in momentum. I know some people say momentum doesn't exist. I believe in momentum. I think UNC is trending up. I think it's, again, an ugly game. I think the UNC defense has been playing well. The Syracuse offense is not. So I'm going to lean low scoring. This is the highest scoring game of UNC season. They win 20-17. Against power conference teams. Sorry, against power conference teams.
I was saying, what was their score against Charlotte? They won 20-17. If I remember correctly, right?
That's why I had to add against power conference teams.
So obviously Richmond, they scored more.
They have not scored more than 18 against a Power 4 conference team. I think they get 20 this week or this game tonight, and they hold Syracuse to 17.
That's kind of wild.
They scored 14 against TCU. Then 20 against Charlotte, so that's not even crazy. Richmond 41. So actually, I'm saying they're going to get the most points they have against an FBS opponent, tied against Charlotte. 9 points against UCF, 10 against Clemson, 18 against Cal, 16 against Virginia, but they needed extra time to do it. So I think they go 20-17 is the score. Maybe a defensive score in there for UNC.
Putrid, I think is the word for it. You know what? Go ahead and give me North Carolina this one. Again, I'm with you, ugly. Give me there's a missed PAT. Give me 19-17.
All right.
Just because, why not? All right, game that kicks off at noon tomorrow in Death Valley in Clemson, South Carolina. The Tigers host Duke tomorrow. Again, Duke 4-3, 3-1 in the ACC, though. Clemson 3-4 on the year, 2-3 in conference. Clemson at home, 3.5-point favorites.
I'm curious if there's any, I don't want to say give up, but if there's maybe a lack of buy-in from Clemson. Because when you're at Clemson, I mean, what are your goals? Start at conference champion?
Yeah, easily.
Maybe start at like second round of the CFP. Like if you're going to consider it any kind of a success. And all of that is off the table for Clemson. Mm-hmm. They've lost 3 times in conference already. And they all have NFL aspirations. I wonder if there's maybe a lack of buy-in.
Some business decisions out there?
Yeah, and Duke all in because, I mean, everything's still on the table for them with the way their schedule is and where they sit in the ACC. So give me Duke to win 30-21.
30-21.
Late touchdown puts it up 30-21.
Okay, so Duke wins at 30-21. By the way, the over-under on this one, 54.5.
So take the under.
So it'd be a little bit on the underside. I'm actually with you on this. Give me the Duke Blue Devils. I don't think it's that high scoring of a game. Give me a 27-21.
I was on the under.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't say it was a shootout.
Oh, I know.
Late touchdown.
Slightly less than what you had it.
That's
All
fine.
right, let's go to Saturday night at Carter Finley Stadium. NC State 4-4 on the year, hosting number 8 Georgia Tech. 8-0 on the season, or the Rambling Wreck. Georgia Tech on the road at Carter Finley, favored by 5.5 in this one.
I did
over
say
under 58.5, by the way.
Yeah, that's surprising to me. I don't think it's that high scoring. Although I think Georgia Tech wins 34-24. 24.
My question is, mine's so dependent on if Hollywood Smothers plays.
Which, by the way, I think that is right around that 58, right? I just say I don't think it's going to be that high scoring, and then I put the number right on top of it. So,
well, you said 34-24. That's 68.
58.
Yeah, 58.
Yeah. So it's
on-air math, nailed
right
it. Actually, that's on the under.
Yeah, but I mean, it's on the number. I was like, wow, that number seems high, and then I put it a half point away. So
yeah,
I'm disagreeing with myself on this one. This one it's a conundrum for me. I think Georgia Tech wins, but it does seem like a Dave Doran kind of sleeper spot. I still think Georgia Tech wins.
31-17 Georgia Tech.
I think there's late scores from NC State.
Yep, 31-17 Georgia Tech wins this one. All right, let's go to actually a top 20 matchup. Here's a little national game. There's actually two big ranked games going on this weekend. One of them actually is number 20 Texas at home against Vanderbilt. Texas 6-2 on the year. Vanderbilt 7-1. They're ranked 9th in the country. Vanderbilt. Never thought in my lifetime it'd be, hey, 9th ranked Vanderbilt.
This kid from my high school
at Texas. Texas favored by 3.5.
Playing tight end for Vandy. You know what? This is going to sound messed up, and it's not. I'm not saying this is an insult, but I think it's more of the circus goes away. I'm not sure if Arch Manning's going to play in this one.
There's a question about it, yeah.
If he doesn't, I kind of like Texas because you get the one-game bump, right? Let's rally around the backup, which could match some of that random Diego Pavia, whatever his last name is, energy from Vanderbilt. And it just takes the circus away a little bit. I'm not saying the backup is better than Arch. I don't know much about the backup, but Texas obviously has talent up and down that roster. And if they rally a little extra hard, a little extra energy, then maybe it could work out for them.
Texas 3.5-point favorites at home. By the way, the over-under this one, 47.5. Looking for a low-scoring game. Give me Vandy. I want to see Vanderbilt in the college football playoff just so all these other programs can drink their tears. All these other SEC teams that are out there complaining, though, we should be in. Yeah, well, you couldn't beat Vanderbilt because they beat you. Give me Vanderbilt. Give me the Commodores in this one.
I'll give you just one more piece of concern.
21-17.
Clark Lee, their coach.
Yeah.
I think he is going to be attractive on the market. I think people are asking questions. That's always difficult for a team to deal with when your coach starts having to answer questions about, I don't want to leave, wink, wink.
Start seeing that contract extension roll through here real quickly. All right, actually, a game that we actually have right here on 99.9 The Fan tomorrow evening, 7:30 kickoff. Number 14, Tennessee at home against number 18, Oklahoma. Both of these teams are 6-2 on the season. I know we talked to Gino Toretta yesterday of Touchdown Radio, who's going to be on the call right here on 99.9 The Fan tomorrow night. Seems like a de facto playoff game between these two teams. Like, winner, you're still alive. Loser, good luck. Tennessee, 2.5-point favorites at home.
The hard part is, like, and Gino said this, so I'm not making it up. Like, their playoffs start now.
Yeah.
Both of them have some difficult schedules, right? Oklahoma goes Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, LSU. So that's 3 ranked teams and then LSU. Tennessee goes Oklahoma, New Mexico State, Florida, then ends with 9th ranked Vanderbilt. Mm-hmm. So, like, they have to have their mind right every single game.
No slouch.
Starting with this one. I really like what Arbuckle does on offense for Oklahoma. I really like what Josh Heupel does on offense for Tennessee, which puts me in a bit of a bind. Both quarterbacks have random ties to the area. Mm-hmm. John Mateer was the coach or the quarterback for Jake Dickert, who's now at Wake Forest when they were both at Washington State. Aguilar was the quarterback at App State before going to UCLA and then Tennessee. All vibes give me Oklahoma.
All right. I'm going to take Tennessee in this one. Give me Tennessee high-scoring affair, 37-34. That's when I go in this one.
That's like a classic.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm hoping for. Listen to it right here on 99.9 The Fan. All right, Tim, we have about 30 seconds here left. Let's go right to it. Panthers at Packers. Packers, 12.5-point favorites at home.
Packers win. Panthers cover 30-20.
Packers 31-14.
Okay. Less bullish over there. That's going to do it for us here on Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody. Please, eyes peeled when you're driving today. Trick-or-treaters everywhere. Enjoy the holiday. Kids, get all the candy you possibly can. For Dennis, for me, for everyone here at 99.9 The Fan, have a wonderful holiday. We'll see you on Monday.
Adam.
I'm Adam Gold, and I'm there.
Tim.
I'm Tim Donnelly, and I'm there.
Dennis.
I'm Dennis Cox, and I'm there.
Victoria.
I'm Victoria Bodenecker, and I'm there.
Paul.
I'm Paul Eihander, and I'm there too.
You'll find them all here on the brand new 99.9 The Fan app. To work, to school, the beach, the mountains, the arena, take The Fan with you wherever you go. Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today. Powered by Aspire Money Management.
It's bow time. Fumbling the food on game day? Rookie move. But you know Bo can make your tailgate a winner breakfast, lunch,